Flat Earth Debate, members only live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel because you've not subscribed as a member, then be sure to subscribe if you're watching this after the fact, and hit the members only join button if you'd like to take part in these members only live streams. Now, we do have a full panel of Discord and G Plus members, so I'm going to pass almost immediately over to them. I've already done a shout out to all of my Patreons on the pre-show. So with that, I'll hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones rather than mine.
How are you?
Good morning.
All right. We're live to members, just so you know. I say we're live to members. There's no one here watching.
Oh. Well, I'd like to discuss a couple of pictures if you're up to it.
Not really, but you can.
So does that mean it's live to members of YouTube and it's actually on YouTube?
One of my members.
Or is it?
If you're one of my members, yes, it's live to you.
Are you a travelling man?
No, I'm not a Freemason.
So yeah, it's like once you open a door to these, I just don't understand because I don't go over to all the channels and try to convert them. I really don't care. But it troubles them that we are flat earthers. And they keep coming here day after day after day, trying to push their nonsense on us, forcing us to believe this. And if we don't, then we're just idiots. And it gets to the point like, are you getting paid to do this? Because why are you doing it? Getting message after message on Discord. And it's stuff that we go over daily here. If they're not going to accept facts, then why are you bothering me? Don't all answer at once.
Well, you're asking the wrong person.
I think part of the deal is it's just part of the social culture, of the media culture. We all get to be a part of what we used to just call TV and radio shows when we're on channels and on YouTube and in Discord talking. We're all now part of the audience, part of the show. We all have our icons, we all have our avatars, we all have our secret identities or just pen names, in my case, that we get to be someone who's in the program, on the program, rather than sitting at the table having a chat and talking with somebody or being in person with anybody. So I think that's the dynamic between why people, excuse me, why people are so adamant about pushing whatever their agenda or whatever their opinion is and stuff like that. They keep beating that dead horse and being that character. If it was real life, we say it all the time. Hey man, if you were right here in front of me, I'd punch you in the nose for being such a jerk. the difference between social media and real life. Says
Well,
the
it's
guy who calls
troubling,
himself
though.
Surf Daddy.
No, but it's troubling though because it's nonstop. Like, don't you have a life?
Well, I assume we all have lives. I've got a life. I'm a farmer. I raise sheep and other stuff. I'm making breakfast for me right now, and I'm just taking a little bit of extra time. But there's a lot of times when I don't show up. I have my life. I move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I'll give you for instance. Guy calls me a coward. You guys are all cowards. You prevent anyone that is proving you wrong from speaking. But nobody's proven us wrong. It's just the fact of the matter. Just like Nathan does, just like Huey does. A normal line or normal vector, which extends radially from the center of the sphere through the point of contact, is perpendicular to the surface of the sphere. Alternatively, this perpendicularity can be understood as the line being perpendicular to a tangent plane at that point on the sphere's surface. Fact. You cannot deny it unless you are brainwashed. The only stupid statement is to deny this. Do your own research. Stop allowing yourself to be brainwashed by Nathan. This is what I
Do
gotta
your own
get at like
research. We measure from the
4
centre
o'clock in
of
the morning.
Earth. Is that what he's saying? Do your own research. We measure from the centre of hell.
That's what I told him. And that's like these things, like he doesn't know that we've gone through this. We know how it's done. That's what I said. Actually, I said to him, ain't nobody going to the center of the earth. Just a joke. He's got this tangent, this dingleberry earth. He's got his line going off into space, and there's still not a 90 there.
Don't
Unless you
forget,
use the
yeah,
tangent.
it's perpendicular to that curve there. Don't forget that.
Shout out to Goldie. He says, hope things are looking up. Thank you very much for the super chat, Goldie.
Are you claiming that we do not have the technology, knowledge, method to determine these angles? It's not a technology. This is just how you measure. So this is their get out, how they get their 90. But you're not talking about the surface then, buddy. But we do measure the surface.
Are you reading this from one of the chats in Discord?
Yeah, he sends me private messages all day long, Buckside Buster.
Oh, it's not Captain Edgewise?
What time is it up to? Because Chris is asking me to take Christopher somewhere. After what? No. Chris, the doctor? The dog doctor? No, this is something else. Yeah, this is not Captain Edgewise. This is the Buck Sodbuster guy. You know, the guy that spilled the beans on pitch data because he didn't even know what the hell he was looking at. He thought it was no big deal, but it turns out to be a rock solid proof that Earth is flat. So I guess he's trying to recover.
He's the one that introduced us all to that?
Well, Brian for years was trying to get a hold of pitch data, and he was being told that it's difficult, it costs a lot of money, when that was all a bunch of bullcrap. It doesn't cost a lot of money, you know. And so he made it like it was no big deal. Oh, I can get you the pitch data. He didn't realize, because he's too stupid, that it was devastating to him, to the whole globe.
I'll have to admit, when the pitch data came out, and I was encouraged just to share the screenshot of the actual data that was being passed around, I felt a little guilty of, passing on memes or passing on stuff that I didn't actually research myself. And that's the
It's not
first
in the
thing gets
research.
accused.
It's just data.
Right. Well, where'd that data come from? Blah blah blah. So I went and okay, I'm going to
NTSB.
find pitch data, and I actually ended up finding. I went to NTSB and looked up reports and downloaded a couple of pitch data or a couple of crash reports and scoured through it and found the data. And most of the data wasn't as good as this one that we're all sharing from, I guess, a flight from Hawaii or whatever. But the point is that yes, it is findable, and I can say that yes, I've looked for it myself, and I have found it. I found what that picture that's going around of the Hawaii flight, just like that, and that's what they use. So, I encourage everyone who isn't quite familiar with what it all shows, instead of just saying pitch data, they should at least try to find out how it is found and how it is available, so they can tell Globers, you can do it yourself, which of course they never will.
While I commend your efforts for sorting out and finding it for yourself, it's not really where it's found that's relevant, it's what it shows that's relevant. What it shows is
Exactly.
pitch up with respect to horizontal for the flight. Ergo, can only be a flat Earth measurement. Can't be pitch up with respect to a dingleberry. We're not measuring from the centre of hell. And as for Buck Sodbuster, if he'd have known the consequences of sharing it with Brian, he would have lied, like all of them lie. Like Captain Edgware lied about knowing who Al Bruni is yesterday rather than facing the awful truth that Earth's being measured flat by him. They'll lie, say I don't know who he is. Brian pointed out that by doing so, the subject becomes whether or not they're lying, rather than whether or not they're aware that Al Bruni's measuring Earth flat.
Yeah, and all pitch data is going to prove the same thing. It's not just one from Hawaii or whatever flight you're talking about.
Yeah, but if the pitch data hasn't been peer reviewed, then it's not science,
Science, anyway, it's just measurements of pitch. The pitch is
knows
measured
that.
with respect to horizontal. That's it. It's the end of the discussion. Same with Al Bruni. And what are you going to do? Saying, no, he isn't measuring surface level and parallel eye level to do trig. Yeah, he is. He's measuring Earth flat. What are you going to do instead? Tell me you don't know who he is? Yeah, you'll lie because you're a glurf. That's what glurfs do. They lie. Because they can't face the fact Earth's flat. They'll lie. Like Captain Edgware lied yesterday. Just a lying scumbag.
Pretending not to know Uncle Al, one of our best hostile witnesses. How disrespectful was that?
Yeah, sit in here for hours and then lie about what they know, rather than face that Earth is measured flat by Al Bruni. There we go. You've got to lie. To be on the globe side of this discussion, you must lie. You have no choice. We don't have to lie. That's why we sleep better than they do.
Or punt the dingleberry Earth and be happy with that.
Yeah, if you want to claim your measurements come from hell, you can, but they don't. No one's measuring from hell. No one's measuring from the centre of a ball. No one's getting perpendicularity from a centre of a ball. No one's measuring that. It's just another lie. Saying we have the technology. No, men are out on boats with sextants. My sister's got a sextant because she went out on boats. She trained her to use a sextant with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That's how she was trained to not die at sea. Did they say, we have the technology to allow you to measure from the centre? No, they didn't do that. But Glurfs will lie and say, we've got the technology. No, we've got a plane of reference in the centre of hell, making the globe nothing more than a glorified protractor when you measure the surface on the equatorial plane depicted in the centre of hell. So we're measuring from the equatorial plane. What's that? A plane derived from Polaris measurement, flat. That's what it is when they lie about being in hell.
Yeah, exactly. It's the surface, just not their surface.
About astronauts being the only ones that we say lie. No. The people who come up against us here all lie. I haven't seen a single exception yet. All of them. Doesn't matter if it's Charles Flat Earth Math or somebody who's claiming to run a church. They all lie. So much so that they'll go to the efforts of justifying to their congregations, if they're pastors, why it's okay to lie. So it's not like they're not comfortable with lying. They all lie on the globe side. Here, to us.
But Nathan,
And themselves.
are they lying to us or are they lying to themselves and trying to convince themselves?
When someone like Charles Flat Earth Math says, I don't need to use R, that is a deceit that he is acutely aware is not true. Ergo, a lie. When Captain Edgware says, I don't know who Al-Biruni is, that is a deceit he is acutely aware of. Ergo, a lie. So, these Glurf scum are liars.
Yeah, and I'd agree to 100% with that. But in the end, they're only lying to themselves.
They're lying to me when Captain Edgware said, I don't know who Al-Biruni is. Yeah, you do know who Al-Biruni is, but accepting that you know him means you know he measured Earth flat, if you know his methodology. I may not know his methodology, but he lied about knowing who he was, just making him a scumbag who's deserving of burning in hell for being a scumbag liar. That's what these people are, scumbag, glurf, liars, who have no choice but to lie to us about what they know, or in this case, who they know. Don't know who Al-Biruni is? Yeah, you do. You're just a liar. I hope you burn in hell, Captain Edgewise. You're a liar, a scumbag, a glurf. It's your raison d'etre, it's what you do. You lie. Rather than accept the awful truth of the flat earth measurements made by Al-Biruni, you lied to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you having to deal with this year in, year out. It's taking its toll on you. So it's not fair on you either.
Liars and scumbags.
Scumbaggery, yeah.
Well, when someone lies to you, they're basically calling you stupid. I've said this many times before, because they think you're stupid enough to believe them. Like Captain Edgewise, sitting in Discord for how long? Years now. Even if he was only sitting there for 6 months, he's heard us speak about Al-Biruni. And Eli, if you're there, AI Overlord sent me all the information we need from all of those shows. He's got all of the clips and he sent them to me. Wow, that's great, Neil.
Is this mic working? Check, check, check.
Working fine.
That seems right.
It was a lot clearer that, yeah, it's a lot clearer than the last one you used a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, for a second it sounded like you were far away.
I hadn't got this other mic set up, so I've got one that's always set up that I can just run in a pinch, and then while the show's running, I just swap to the other one, which is much easier because it's not right in front of my face. It's like a couple of feet away. Anyway. Yeah, the one a couple of minutes ago was the same mic, just point at the ceiling. I just pressed the wrong button. Yeah, the standard I have to deal with in the chat comments is also similar in terms of scumbaggery. So yesterday's show was focused on Al Biruni and his flat earth measurements. I go to the comments like I do every morning, and I get people accusing me of being a bad father. Like, what the hell? It's almost like you've got absolutely no rebuttal to Earth being measured flat. And I suspect that if you were in our presence while we were dealing with it, you'd have just denied knowing Al Biruni like Judas. But for whatever reason, they decide that my fathering ability is the subject matter when the name of the show is Flat Earth Debate, and we discuss people like Al Biruni specifically measuring Earth flat. Then they discuss what I point out in the pre-show, that because I discuss Earth being measured flat, we get heavy suppression. We get censored, making it difficult to earn a living. So which one are they going to pick? Oh, well, I'll pick the former. That's you being a bad father then. Oh, is it? Right, I see.
Yeah, I had it out with Rob Noxious yesterday. I had to tell him the truth. You guys have already admitted that you know what you claim Nathan did is BS. These are just liars.
Shout out to Dan Kinzer, who says, "Good day, Nathan. Hope my gift finds you well." Oh, thank you very much. Via PayPal. Really appreciate it, Dan. Thank you very much for your support. I like it when I get PayPals during the live show because I can actually shout them out. Normally I just send them an email saying thanks for your support. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks to that guy. Thank you to all the members who are watching. Keep supporting, keeping the lights on so we can have a good time with it all.
Yes. Gotta keep the lights on. But we'll be doing the book again very shortly.
Probably before the end of the week. So Adam's getting a new computer tomorrow. So it may be the case that means we start doing it again.
Yeah, he said Thursday, but I was thinking he was meaning next Thursday. But that would be great if we can get running again this week. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, the original estimates that it'll be out this Christmas seem to have been pretty accurate, though, eh? That's what it's going to be. And then I'd anticipate it'll take about 6 months to 12 months for it to filter into people who might actually want to talk to me about it.
Yeah, I'm anticipating big things, man.
Well, the amount of messages I get from people saying, I've got, I don't know, 3 copies of your book in mind to purchase because I want to send them to this person and that person. Can't wait. You think, I've had that type of message dozens of times. People saying, I want multiple copies because I'm going to send them to this person. Okay. So it's not just the case that we have to wait until the book's popularity picks up amongst people who may not want to acknowledge Earth being measured flat. It'll be foisted upon them, if that's the correct term, by their friends and family, who'll go, yeah, have this. Which I like. I love that. People proactively putting the book in people's hands. It also inspires confidence in me, right? That is to say that people are confident enough in what I do and what the book will be to know that they want to buy several copies of it. Either that or it's supreme confidence in Adam's curation ability and QE's editing ability. Who knows? It is extremely suspicious how Adam got burgled. Now I've got the full story of it. Very, very strange. Why leave really valuable things that are easy to sell and take a dusty old computer and not take all the peripherals and stuff that you could easily take to a pawnbroker that day and get money for immediately? I don't get it. Unless the motivation wasn't money.
Sorry, that's what I was saying. It was like an anti-thief went in there. He left all the valuables and took the crap.
Yeah, took the crap old 7 or 8 year old computer. That makes no sense. Unless you want something removing from the computer. I mean, we speculate, but it's amusing.
Yeah, it is amusing, but we say he left all the valuables, and rightly so he did, but he got the most valuable thing to him. If this is what's going on, they're trying to stop it. You know? What was on that computer, not the dusty old thing. It's what was on there. And with the messages that I was getting yesterday from that Rob guy, it seems like there is a mission. They're on like a mission to shut this channel down. Even go back to Antarctica. Shut your channel shut. That's always been the cry, right?
Yeah.
So it's just them in the space and no one challenging them. And so it appears as though they hold the correct arguments.
I see. So, in other words, if there is no opposition to their position, then consensus rules. And because that is their mentality, that is to say, they are ruled by consensus, that is a legitimate win in their mind. Oh, well, no one's challenging me, therefore my position is true. I say Earth's a giant rooster. No one else is disagreeing. In fact, everyone's agreeing. Everyone around me says Earth's a giant rooster. So Earth's a giant rooster. What's that? Somebody saying it isn't. Get him!
Well, it's not only that. It's that nobody else is let's just say, they're not laying it out the way we lay it out here. I mean, this is devastating to them. And if you go everywhere else, they're talking about everything else but the facts of the matter. So you're not a threat. You know, they'll leave them alone. Leave them in the feast of nonsense. Leave them in refraction. They're tying their own hands up. But this guy here, he's talking about measurements. We must stop this.
Yeah. We'll happily discuss till the ends of the earth how stupid you are for assuming that 9/11's an inside job. We'll discuss till the end of the earth how Mandela effect isn't real, while you put the position that it is. We'll discuss how there are no forests on a flat earth all day long with idiot numbskulls. We'll discuss how there was a mud flood with you bunch of bonehead flat earthers. Because that's nice and easy. It just makes you look like complete idiots. You, the flat earthers, talking about that crap. Here, we say Al-Biruni measured Earth flat. What's the response? Who's Al-Biruni? I don't even know who you're talking about. That's the rebuttal. Isn't it, Captain Edgewise? Cat got your tongue line, Glurf? The rebuttal to me pointing out that Al-Biruni measures Earth flat is, I don't know who Al-Biruni is. What a pathetic globe-believing cuck you are, you sad twat of a liar. Meanwhile, Al-Biruni measures Earth flat. And without that flat Earth measurement made by Al-Biruni, you don't have a sphere to believe in because you don't get a radius value. You sure as shit don't get it from measuring reality. You get it by calculating the height by measuring Earth flat first. It's the first step. Step one in believing you're on a ball, you stupid retard called Captain Edgewise. Step one for you, a numpty dipshit liar, is measuring Earth flat. We didn't get to discuss this fact of flat Earth measurement required for Captain Edgewise's belief. We didn't get to discuss that. What we got was a glurf scumbag telling me he didn't know who he was. Didn't we? That's what we actually got. Now, like I say, if I was discussing how there are no forests on a flat Earth, I'm sure we'd have had a very engaging conversation for a prolonged period about that very obscure, nonsensical conspiracy garbage. But when we talk about the stone-cold facts of globe belief and how it's been measured to achieve your sad, idiotic globe belief, you forget who that person is. Yeah, you're going to need to shut me down when your response to how Earth gets measured by your own bleeding gurus is to tell me you don't know who they are.
Yep, you got it. You nailed it. That's exactly what is happening. Not just with him, with all of them.
That's good. Highlights to my audience exactly how weak being a glober is. What you've got to do when you're in that awful position of believing you're on a globe based on perceived measurements of the globe made by Al-Biruni. Until I come along and say, nah, he measured Earth flat, didn't he? He? Who's he? I don't know who you're talking about. Al-Biruni? Never heard of him. Gotta lie to be a glurf. That's your only option in this scenario. What are you going to do? Admit that you understand implicitly how flat Earth has been measured by Al-Biruni? Because it was, is, and always will be measured flat. That's how it's measured. Even for your stupid, dumbass globe belief, Earth gets measured flat.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking. I was like, I thought he was kidding at first. But he's dead serious. An outright lie. And he doubled down on it, right? He didn't come in and say, nah, I'm only kidding. I know who he is. Nope. I have no idea. I never heard of him.
Yeah. Such an egregious lie that we can now really put the thumbscrews to him, can't we? Scumbag, you prove our point. Earth and it being flat has to be lied about by our opponents. You have no option. That's what you did. Lie. So you've got to lie to believe you're on a ball. You've got to deny the measurements to believe you're on a ball. You've got to deny your own origin story because it requires measuring Earth flat for your origin story. So that's your position. You must lie to maintain your faith in a ball. That's all there is to it. I don't need to do anything of the sort. I can point out how your dumbass faith in a ball comes from measuring Earth flat. That's what I can do. So what have I got? Have I got a belief in a flat Earth? No. Every single person who believes they're on a ball, unless they lie about knowing who Al-Biruni is, must, let's just say that again, must accept Earth being measured flat, because that's how it got measured. Answer, I don't know who Al-Biruni is. At the time, very irritating. Took someone with a much smarter mind than myself, Brian's logic, to point out, no, it's a red herring that you're chasing down. Because the discussions become about whether or not this lying glurf scum who deserves to burn in hell for his deceit has lied or not, rather than whether or not Al-Biruni measured Earth flat. That's not in contention, is it? There's no contention about how he got the height of the mountain off a flat Earth. He can't do it any other way. It's trig. It's using horizontal distance measurement. That's how it's done. So it's not Oh, I don't think Al Biruni did measure Earth flat. All right, well, I don't think you've got any fucking measurements for your stupid Glurf belief then, have you? That's what you get when you deny how flat Earth got measured by him. So what's the result? I don't know who he is. Right? Don't seem to be responding, Captain Liar. Came off mute at the beginning of this discussion. To interrupt me in the middle of me pointing out what a liar you were. No, nothing? Yeah, well, I'll just reiterate it. The scumbag on the panel called Captain Edgewise had no option but to lie to everybody listening yesterday when asked if he knew who Al Biruni was to affirm that he understood how the Earth got measured flat by him. He said he didn't know who he was. He lied through his back teeth.
You know, it's recorded too.
Another shout out to Goldie McKiernan. Says, hey, Sugar, try to remember using PayPal going forward. Hold on, it disappeared in the middle of me reading it. Try to remember to use PayPal going forward and avoid YouTube theft. I don't think YouTube will like me saying that on air, but there we go. Thank you very much for the PayPal. Goldie McKiernan.
You ain't kidding. I got robbed somehow. Oh, not YouTube, but through the internet. Why don't we all just go back to cash?
Yo.
Hey, Eli.
Eli, I got the info, Eli.
Oh, yeah. What did you look through it?
I didn't review it yet, but AI sent me a bunch of stuff. Got it. The month, the people he was talking to, what they were talking about. And he's also said that a lot of times his problem is he goes in there drunk. So I don't know. We're going to have to ask him if that's the case.
Did any of those conversations happen to be with me?
I haven't checked them out yet. What I'll do is I'll send them all to you, and you could listen to them too.
All right. Thank you.
Why don't you send them to me, Neil? Since I'm in here.
Got you there? I'll send them to you too.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a proper trial here. We're gonna find out who's telling the truth and who's telling a lie.
I don't really understand this little war that you've got going on.
I don't understand it either. I mean, this went on for months. There's multiple people that had issues with it. I don't get why you guys think I'm lying about it. It's kind of silly, but it probably shouldn't be the topic right now, should it?
Not really, but nevertheless, it did take up about 4 hours of yesterday's show.
We hash things out here, all right? And then we kiss and make up. So, just relax. Nobody's calling you a liar. I didn't call you a liar. But Eli's a panel member. Eli's a panel member. And you got to respect that.
Anyway.
Yeah,
sorry,
anyway.
I was late coming into the show. Hopefully, it's been good so far.
This is a members-only show, so, I mean, I actually don't mind what you talk about. I'm more running the show for, obviously, first and foremost, my members who pay me to keep shows running. So, regardless of how rough I feel, and I do feel rough, I still want to run a show for the members. But moreover, for my panel and Discord, who dutifully join every day, and without you guys, there'd be no shows. So, in many ways, this now is run for you, yeah? As opposed to for the general public and the audience, which there isn't one. So, if you guys want to discuss that, even though we're live to members only, I'm happy for you to do that, as long as you keep it relatively tame in terms of the language.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I was swearing too much yesterday.
And that's fine. YouTube have relaxed that you guys don't tend to keep up with YouTube terms of service, which I absolutely do. And as of about 10 days ago, it might be longer, I can't remember, I was ill. But recently, they've changed, or let's say softened, their swearing regulations quite considerably. So they appreciated that it was doing an algorithmic detriment to themselves by censoring people who use that language, because people use that language. That's bad language. So they have softened their terms of service in terms of the restrictions on swearing. Now, that's not an open door for everybody to start swearing on the show. I prefer to maintain it. But if the odd F-bomb slips out, I'm less inclined to moan. And my audience are a different story. They, not all of them, but some of them prefer there was no swearing on the show because they've got kids present. That's still true, right? There's still going to be people who listen to the show that would prefer there was no swearing on it.
Absolutely, I'm one of them. Paul is another one. Huey also is another one. He doesn't like any swearing at all.
Yes, he's very against swearing.
It's a good thing Huey never swears.
You mean...
Fuck up.
You mean Saint Huey? Saint Quantum Eraser of the Flat Earth.
Up.
And Quantus Eraserus.
Quantus Erasium?
Yeah.
Did he just say what I thought I heard him say?
What's that?
F off.
Yeah, there's kids listening, so let's try and keep the language to a minimum. Well, there probably isn't actually, as it's members only currently, but yeah. Generally speaking, we need to be a bit more disciplined. Me, when I'm in pain, I revert to type and swear a lot.
See, I like Nathan, but Huey's my favorite.
It's an O'Neill.
So yesterday, some guy texts me, goes, I'm on the third shut up. When are you going to grow a pair and stand up to these guys? They have no clue.
Get told to shut up when you interrupt. So does everybody. I get told to shut up when I'm
we all
interrupting.
get told to shut up. No big deal. But I think it was during yesterday's show. I was saying a few things. He said, I think the guy said, Huey's on his third shut up. When are you going to grow a pair and stand up to these men? I don't know. Soon, though. So is Edgewise in there now? Has he responded?
Yes and no. Yes, he's in there. No, he has not responded. What's he going to do? He knows.
Respond to me
the
yesterday.
reason he had to... Sorry, go ahead.
But oh no, I was just saying he did respond to me yesterday. He said that he's the creator of some of the time lapses, but they're on his hard drive, and he has to like convert them or something. So I guess technically he says he's telling the truth when he actually takes the star trails. So we'll see. He said it's going to take him a while.
No. That's not what we're talking about. He said he didn't know who Al Baruni was. He's a liar.
Oh yeah, no, he was lying about that. Of course he does. That
Adam
was
had his computer stolen, so I'm sure this is all connected somehow.
Say again?
I was being facetious. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they'll take the low-hanging fruit. They won't take the flat Earth measurements from Al Baruni. That'll get silence and lies.
What's his name? Albert Rooney.
Al Baruni. Al, A-L.
Not Albert Rooney. That's the grandfather of Wayne Rooney, isn't it?
Albert Rooney.
Yeah, that's the one.
Not Wayne Rooney's grandfather, no. Yeah, we won't ever hear anything in regards to that, because they're only interested in the ambiguous low-hanging fruit of things like Polaris, rather than the absolute stone-cold fact that their religion came from measuring Earth flat. That won't ever get anything other than lies, will it? Oh, I don't know who he is. Yeah, you do.
But that's just stupid to say something like that.
Also, Wayne Rooney used a flat Earth for his profession as well.
Nice flat pitch to kick his balls about on.
You're right. Without a flat Earth to measure, you're not going to get a decent relief on the pitch, and it would be full of puddles. But they do. They measure it flat and introduce relief to all pitches so that the rain runs off them. Measured with a flat Earth. Yeah, they'd just rather not talk to us about the bits that prove Earth is being measured flat. Like I say, it's easier to lie and say you don't know who that person that's measured Earth flat for your own religion of a ball is, than get into the horrible, awkward situation of admitting that, yes, Earth must be measured flat for my religion to work. You know why that is?
That's why Mick West is still talking about UFOs rather than his Earth curve calculator.
Because they're cowards. It makes Edgewise a coward. Scared little children that can't face the reality of their circumstances when they befall them. So they lie like little children, scared little children. Are you a small boy, Edgewise? See? Silence. Yeah? Easier than
Are you the
admitting
son of a
Earth's
gun,
measured flat.
Captain?
Dead. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Oh, sorry. I said, are you a son of a gun, Captain?
But are there any ball believers currently with us in attendance on Discord? No, everyone on the panel's a flat earther, eh? Including Captain Edgewise. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, if you appreciate how Earth gets measured, always without exception, you can't be anything other than a flat earther. I mean, if I was in that awful situation and a globe believer, I'd just lie about knowing who someone like Al Bruni was. It's much easier. Just lie. I thought we were accused of shutting down discussions with people who wanted to talk about being on a ball. I want to talk about Al Biruni. He's claimed to be one of the forefathers of your globe faith, and no one's responding to me. What gives? Is this me shutting down discussion? Or is this people on the ball side having no choice but to remain silent in the face of the flat earth measuring facts of Al Biruni, their globe forefather?
No, they're shutting down the discussion is when you shut them down when they start chanting their rhetoric. There's a big difference. Man, my car's making some crazy sounds.
Car troubles are always the most stressful out of any type of trouble you can have, it seems.
Yeah, you don't know what they are. Right now, my vehicle sounds like it's a diesel.
Mechanics can tell you anything. You don't know. It's impossible to verify.
Yeah, so now my thing is I'm not entertaining anybody anymore. You know the link. You want me, you join the show. I'm not going to be transferring messages to Nathan. You want Nathan? Join the show.
But Nathan won't talk about antipodal stars in the south going different directions. He just doesn't want to talk about that.
Stars don't go in different directions.
Correct.
Why would I want to talk about something that doesn't happen?
See
That's
what I mean?
Dave Fafada's argument, isn't it? That's one of his main arguments. I swear
You're just refusing to argue. You just don't want to talk about it because you're scared.
Yeah, but they can come on. They got the link. Anybody could join. Nathan gives the invitation every day when we go live. And even if you're an idiot, you'll be warmly welcomed back the next day.
Yeah, even liars, like Captain Edgeways, is still here.
Well, we got there's a few that are banned and for proper reasons, but not for lying. Well, Rumpus got banned for lying, didn't he?
It reached the point where it became so egregious with Rumpus that there was no communicating with him anymore. So when in the same breath, we do have a geometric horizon, we don't have a geometric horizon, we do, at that point, there's no talking to that person anymore. Like, if you literally double speak in the same sentence, what's the point in talking to you? You have no integrity at that point. You can't communicate with someone like that. They're prepared to flip-flop in the same breath.
Yeah, that was with respect to the geometric horizon, right? Or something like that. But you set him up for that, Nathan.
What, with the Black Swan?
Yeah, he fell right into it.
Sure. You know, I won't take any credit for that. That's all QE. I may have swung the sword, but
point of contention. Sorry,
it was forged by QE.
Was the point of contention that he originally argued for the geometric horizon, knowing full well the horizon's always refracted. So
yes.
Therefore there isn't one. Yeah.
Correct. So what we had was a screenshot of him arguing with us back in the day over Isle of Man for there being a geometric horizon. And when presented with the facts, that is to say, here you are, quite clearly, with the Andrew Thomas Young document that shows there is no geometric horizon. But at that point, he's intentionally deceiving the audience, isn't he? Like, there's no two ways about it. He's got the documents and had them all along.
Yeah, but then he tried to cover up. What show is that? I'd like to hear that again.
I don't know the number. It'll have Rumpus in the title, though.
Yeah, and it was very easy to find because it would have to be his last show, right?
Well, I trimmed it out and made it into short versions as well, called Rumpus Gets Caught Lying or something like that.
Yeah, he's moved on to his next assignment.
Yep. He got compromised and lost the gig.
And so did Duffy. Duffy moved on. Brian's right. I gotta apologize to him. I did see that. He has a farewell video and everything.
He had a good run though, the Rumpus, and he was quite intimidating with his pronunciation of words and his intellect. But the truth is the truth, you know. It was quite baffling to hear someone with his intellect double speaking. You know, it was a special moment.
Well, I guess I should thank Rumpus, because if Rumpus wasn't Rumpus, I would have never got on a panel. I would have been happy to sit in Discord. But I just couldn't hear a word when he would start going on his little rant, because he would just continually just speak right through, and we couldn't hear what was going on in G+. We only got Rumpus.
You utter moron, Nathan.
Share your screen, QE.
So this Rumpus guy is completely like disappeared from this subject, right? Because I swear I've only ever run into him like twice on Discord.
Yeah, he's moved on to his next assignment. Aliens.
Oh, there's I forgot. There's supposed to be a supposed alien invasion in November, isn't there? My baller friend was absolutely like freaked out, like almost crying on the phone when he called me a couple weeks ago about it. And then he stopped talking to me
Yeah,
because he goes, "Oh yeah, that's right, you're a flat earth," and we got into an argument and he blocked me.
the big thing, because they feed and falling down, so it can't be a meteor. This is the mothership. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
I didn't know anything about this. So you're saying there's a mainstream narrative for aliens? No wonder we're more heavily suppressed at the moment. No wonder.
It's what's the guy's name? He's the head astronomer. He's like the head professor for the astronomy department of Harvard. Is absolutely saying that it's like a 95% chance it's an alien ship. It's really wacky, but this guy's done this like 12 times. Every time they claim to see something weird, he claims it's aliens. So he doesn't really have a lot of credibility because he's cried wolf so many times about it.
The alien narrative is completely inconducive with what we do here, right? As soon as we disprove space, there is no alien narrative anymore. Now, if there are beings that have come from somewhere, it isn't from a sky vacuum, is it?
No, but this one is gaining speed and slowing down. It's a different, this is different data he's tracking. Forget about the other 12 times. He's got something now. But I get what you're saying, Nathan.
What? You're not going to tell me? What do you get that I'm saying?
Nathan, Oh, about the, looking out beyond the horizon. That's who will find aliens. I know I'm one of them. I live in a land where we found them. There's no looking up. It's only out. But they're looking up. There's people that are packing their shit and leaving because they think this is a real happening. Like it's going to happen.
Leaving? Where are they going?
I guess they people like bunkers or something underground. Who knows? You got preppers, Nathan.
Got what?
Preppers. There's people preparing for this. Because
Okay.
they believe scripturally that these alien invasions are disembodied demons. And aliens really are demons.
I've seen that narrative recently. So the alien one seems bizarre to me, but one of the stories that I've heard multiple times, it comes out every 10 years. It's even been punted by Mark Sargent at one point, is the infrared demon vision glasses. You ever heard this?
No.
Starts in Nam, where they suggest that the red-tinted night vision goggles allowed them to see creatures from beyond, demons. And a lot of them went nuts. And the most famous story is of a gunner with these goggles, and the suppliers have told the pilot not to wear them, but only the gunner. And then while they're flying over a seemingly empty area of jungle, suddenly the gunner starts opening fire on seemingly nothing. And he's going nuts, saying there's a massive demon there, and it's coming, it's chasing us down, it's coming, that's the story. So then they become green goggles, because the red ones are going to be causing problems, right?
Kind of makes sense. You see, I've heard some stories. I mean, one story I heard, the hair was standing up on my freaking body when a guy told me the story about a demon he encountered in his prison cell.
I was going to say earlier, can we get on to ghost stories? Here we go.
Well, listen, this guy was a treacherous guy in the street, but he was out to the Lord. He was shining like an angel when I first met him. You would never think that this guy could do half the things he was in prison for. But
lots of people who are locked up and stop planning to see aliens in their or demons in their prison cell. Yeah.
get in my
It's all psychosomatic.
it's so big.
Huh?
I might be losing you.
Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was able to see this monstrous demon that was in the cell. And he said when he recognized it, his eyes opened up, but the demon's eyes got wider because the demon was shocked that he was able to see him.
To be fair, I imagine a significant amount of prisons in America could be classed as demons.
Well, I'm not going to say he didn't. I can only go by what he told me, but I've never did. I'm in a bad reception. Is my mic coming through?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so Mark Sargent also Did you guys hear about that stupid laser thing that everybody's doing? They're taking DMT or something, and they're looking at these lasers on the wall, and they're seeing coatings like the Matrix.
Oh my God.
Me and Dad were speaking about this last week.
Right, you know what I'm talking about, right? So they got all these people taking this stuff and staring at lasers on their wall, seeing the coatings of, I guess they think it's, I don't know, that we're in simulation or something.
People take drugs,
holographic.
see weird stuff. It's not unusual. Not really, Neil.
But that's what the guy was saying. I was doing interviews. He kept saying, so all of these people that have seen this were on DMT.
Isn't that the whole point of taking drugs, to see and experience things that aren't there in real life? Like, isn't that the whole? I don't know. I thought that was the point of taking drugs, so you see weird stuff.
Actually, no, I've just looked it up. It says to be like the cool kids. That's the official reason.
Oh, boy. But keep them talking about things like that. They got us talking about it right now, right? Who the hell brought this up?
I don't know, but it's better than Wayne Rooney.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, there's a massive portion of people that think aliens are coming in like 60 days. So it should be interesting. I mean, it's nothing. We all know, like, it's literally nothing. But like, I tried my best to like calmly explain to my buddy about it, because he just messaged me at like 2 o'clock in the morning. He goes, "Dude, do you want to see something that's really scary and it might ruin your day?" I'm like, "Okay." And he sends me, and I'm like, "What is this?" He goes, "Dude, there's aliens coming in November." I'm like, and it's like, no matter, like, I tried to keep the kitty gloves on. Like, I dipped my hands in Vaseline and put kitty gloves on and tried to very easily explain to him how it's nonsense, and it just made him more angry. And then he goes, "You know, F you can't take nothing seriously, blah, blah, blah." And he
The
like just
question
flipped
is,
out and then blocked me. And the weird thing is, like, he's a friend
are
I've
they
known since like
aliens coming from a
2005. Like, we went to
vacuum?
school together. Huh? Sorry.
Are they aliens coming from a vacuumous area of space, or are they aliens coming from unknown territories?
Above.
Right. Oh, they're claiming it's coming from the vacuum because they're looking at something that they thought was a quote unquote meteor or a comet, but then it turns out it has
Well, that's
LED lights
impossible.
on it or some shit.
No, it changes speed.
Whatever. Yeah, but they're also saying it has
Well, here's the
different.
thing. You said they said 60 days. They gave a time on it? Wow, I didn't hear that. I better start getting ready.
Well, yeah, it's due to be like, put your globe hat on. It's due to be in our vicinity of Earth in the vacuum of space around like November 10th. If they calculate how fast it's traveling, the estimated size. Oh my God, it sounds it's so retarded when you actually start breaking it down, because it's literally just people looking at a screen with a bunch of bleeps on it and making up their own stories on what it is, and they like it's nonsense. But I mean, again, we all know that, but
yeah, the aliens will arrive soon. They're traveling at 9.8 meters per second squared.
yes, they are actually.
There has been quite a few people. I can't name many names this second. I can't remember who it was that was saying it. I suspect some of the more shilly of the flat earthers. Nevertheless, there was a handful of people on our own side that were saying the government is queuing themselves up or preparing for a fake alien invasion. And previously it's been ascribed to Project Bluebeam and holograms in the sky, things like that. Can you all remember that from 8, maybe 7 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How the hell did they know that? Because it is happening. We are now, I'm going to call it a fake alien invasion. Because aliens, if they exist, are going to be a different coloured people just like us on a continent yet to be discovered. Because that's what's happened up until now. Every single time that we've discovered new lands, there's been people just like us on them with a slightly different coloured skin. But there is no sky vacuum with aliens coming with flying saucers. That's garbage. So what they're calling an alien invasion is a fake alien invasion, as described by our shilly flat earth compadres 7 or 8 years ago.
You know what? That's one point my buddy did make to me. He goes, listen, man, I know what your position is on space and all that, but the fact that they're pushing it means either it's real or they're going to fake it somehow. So, I mean, I guess I kind of saw his point in that. Like, just the fact they're putting it out there, meaning they're going to try to pull something, which it's whatever. It's possible, I guess. But
You don't need to.
he's under
pull
the
something
belief
off,
that
though.
it's actually real aliens
You
from
don't need to.
a spaceship.
You don't need to do anything, right? You just need to discuss the possibility. And already, you've already told me, there's people prepping for this. So the fear is already working. You don't need to do anything at all for people to be in fear of this. You don't need to actually stage a hologram or create a flying saucer to fly over Manhattan. You don't need to do that. Now, what is much more effective is the same when they used to bullshit about what was going on in war. Show some very grainy black and white photograph of what they say is a alien spacecraft. What is it? 5 pixels? Yeah! Now look at this white streak coming towards it to try and blow it up. Yeah, that's all you got to do. It's really easy. One of my first memories of knowing that the media faked things and lied was when it's probably when I was 10 years old, watching the news, and they tell you about how horrific the images you're about to see are. And you get really, geared up to be scared and see the horror of war. And then you didn't see anything. There was nothing there to see. Literally nothing. You might have a barrel with a fire in it and a news reporter 200 yards away from it. And you're like, that's what you put the disclaimers up for. And then they'll cut to, now watch us take out this entire town with this magical bomb that's laser guided. And you're like, okay, what am I looking at? I'm looking at some grainy black and white footage. Okay, so you've got OBS screen recording on your radar in the plane, have you? That's how you got this? You're like, what do you take me for? This crappy footage is you telling me an entire town's been blown up? I don't believe you.
Hey, Nathan.
That's all you need. Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Whoever that was.
Brian.
Are you talking about the news or are you talking about something else?
What about the news in general? Because I haven't watched the news in many, many, many years. I haven't even got a television, so I don't really know what's going on in the news. Social media is the unfortunate in for the news that I didn't want, right? I thought by removing a television I wouldn't get that crap anymore, but you get it through social media these days, whether you want it or not. So Charlie Kirk dying, I knew about that almost immediately the second I woke up because of social media, or RSS feeds or whatever, right? Those were coming through in that instance via my email. Now, did I ask for it? No. Is it coming through to me anyway? Yeah.
So did you get a report that the aliens are coming?
No, that's my point. I've had no inkling of that. That's not come through to me.
Wow.
Charlie Kirk, yeah. Aliens? No. Or maybe I'm just not paying attention.
Well, has any flat earther got that?
We undermine this entire...
thing?
We have been suppressed more than ever, and I've been saying it for, 6 months? And I'm like, what's the reason? Why are we more suppressed now? There's nothing going on, right? They've done their Antarctic bit and buggered off. Well, no, in the narrative, flat Earth, no, that's all done now. We finished, we dealt with that, right? You see, there's nothing going on. You can't even hear any flat earthers anymore. That's the perception in the mind's eye of the general public because of the heavy censorship. But in my mind, I'm like, well, why? That seems very unnecessary, doesn't it? I mean, I get it. They still got to keep us alive to a certain degree so that the debate can continue into the future, so there's ambiguity where there's only flat earth measurements in reality. But regardless of us being not completely disbanded, like in the most literal sense, we're still physically here. Why the heavy suppression? Why is it necessary? What is it that's coming down the pipeline that would need us to be very much kept as quiet as possible? Well, an alien invasion will do it, because everything we have to say undermines that at its core.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing.
Yeah.
The heavy suppression after the final experiment. Oh, sorry. My bad.
Go ahead, Patty.
I was going to say the heavy suppression after the final experiment makes a little bit of sense because the vast majority of flat earthers, pretty much everyone in here, the majority of the flat earthers in 24/7, most of the ones that I know of were absolutely not bothered by it. And that's a problem for the globe pushers. Like, if the flat earthers don't even care about it, then who's like, how are we gonna, like, if they're not panicking about it, then it's detrimental. I think that has a lot to do with it. Because, I mean, on this show here, like, when they were there live and stuff and everyone was watching, we were joking about it the whole time, just making fun of them. Oh, look, he brought an equatorial mount. He's just going to take flat earth measurements the whole day he's there. And we were just like making fun of it.
Yeah,
I don't
we got
think
a phone call from there.
we didn't give them the reaction they were hoping for.
No,
Well,
they tried to deflect with measurements. Go ahead, Brian.
Just on Nathan's question, there's a guy, right? I've spoken about this guy in the past, and I've even sent QE a video of his, and QE called him a kook. This guy is promoting the exact same ether rubbish as Witsit, like word for word, right? But he's not promoting a flat stationary plane. He's promoting a heliocentric globe, and he's trying to show how the military use special secret weapons to make MH370 disappear. And this guy seems to be making waves for himself out in social media. Now, this guy obviously is some kind of an alien believer guy, right? Alien spaceship, I'm sure, as well, right? And now you have this other thing. I don't know what it's about, but it's called 31 Atlas. And it's something that they're trying to claim is heading towards us from heliocentric outer space. And it looks like it could be a massive alien ship or, this kind of rubbish. So there's all this rubbish going on. So, like, they brought ether, right, back into the fold via flat Earth. And now it's in more mainstream with this dude who's promoting heliocentrism. Now you have a supposed alien spaceship coming. So, like, all this has been going on, especially with this dude, has been going on heavy for the past 6 months. Like, this guy has become more and more popular in the past 6 months, or more and more well known. Him and a couple of others.
What's his name?
Oh, Ashton Forbes. Google him, Ashton Forbes.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about, the alien ship that's supposedly coming, and it's gaining and losing speed, so that's why they know it's not a meteor. This is the mothership.
Yeah, this guy, though, I don't know what he has said about that, but he has been focused on the MH370 thing and how these orbs, this secret technology that we got from aliens or something like that, or is using the ether or some other rubbish. There's military video, supposedly. It's not, it's rubbish. But this guy believes it's real, and he's going through all this nonsense about Lockheed Martin hiding things. And like, he's a total conspirator. Ashton Forbes is the guy's name. And he's a total bullshitter, right? Or he's a believer. I know what he is. But, like, what they're trying to remove us away from public eye for people like him and for this event thing that they're talking about, because they have to remove us, as you said, Nathan, because we are the problem. We'll point out all the reasons why it's a load of rubbish, why this guy, and we'll show out why this guy's a complete idiot, and they don't want that.
That's why I've always said we're public enemy number one. That's a fact.
Yeah, but at least now there's a reason, because it was frustrating me. It's like, I don't really see the point of suppressing us as heavily as they are. Why am I struggling so much? I don't get it. There doesn't seem to be a legitimate reason for it currently. Well, now I know, don't I? Yeah, without us in the way, they can punt heliocentric alien invasions without any consequence or somebody undermining their narrative. That's us.
It's so bad.
Yeah, you can punt it. They're coming through the ether, right, Brian? That's why they're punting this ether nonsense too.
Well, this guy is a word for word. This Ashton Forbes is word for word the same exact rubbish as Witzer. Couldn't be any more. I mean, word for word, except for he's not claiming a flat stationary plane. That's it. You know.
Well, that's funny because Witzer brought up aliens too.
Well, I don't know what the story is with anything like that, right? As in aliens or any rest of it, because I stopped following all that stuff a long, long time ago. And what I did notice is here and there I would go back in and listen to some of the people who used to speak about it. A long time before I ever came to Flat Earth, maybe 20 years ago or something. And they used to speak about all kinds of nonsense about aliens coming from this star system and this place and that place. And now, what most of the people I used to listen to one time, what they're saying is that they now believe that they've always been here and they didn't come from off out in outer space, and you can't go to outer space. And they're like, the change around is like, they're just a couple of steps away from, no, you've just been bullshitted. Right.
Let me get it straight.
A couple of steps.
The people who previously would say that aliens have come from a star system in heliocentrism are now suggesting, pretty much like I said half an hour ago, that if there are aliens, they're exactly the same as the people that we've already discovered on different continents when we discovered new continents. As in, they're just different people of a different colour. Now, they're leaving out the last bit, but saying, well, they're already here with their highly technologically advanced spaceships. They were already here. We just didn't know. They were amongst us, like in Men in Black.
Yeah, they're living under the ocean, or
under the sea.
That they've always been here, or they were here before us, or so some nonsense like that. So I'm hearing I've heard this kind of rhetoric, and it's just like there's a big mistrust that these people have with the government and NASA and stuff, because they never disclosed their alien spaceships and alien friends. You know what I mean? Or enemies. Like, since I stepped away from all that stuff years ago, there was never a disclosure to everyone. I remember everyone was waiting for this big alien disclosure that the US government were going to do, but they can't disclose something they don't have, right? And so, because of their lack of faith in the government and the US militaries and the Russian military and who knows whatever else, now they're all changing their tune. You know what I mean? So they've changed the narrative in their own head, but they're not far away from, hang on, maybe it's all just total and utter rubbish, and none of what we're told is real. You know what I mean? They're not too many steps away from them, some of those people. You know, because even one of the people, Chocolate used to listen to it at one time. There's one of the people that thought that Chocolate used to listen to it at one time. And this guy's position on aliens and stuff has changed dramatically from what it would have been, let's say, 15 years ago. You know, so, you know, this look, it's like this, right, Nathan? It's like this. You can either believe in aliens, right, and all the rest of it, right, to help you keep accepting a globe, because that's what it is. But as soon as the alien thing is taken away, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people so disheartened, right? If that's taken away, there's going to be so many people so disheartened to realize, hang on, maybe it's only just us or something like that. That then they're more likely to, you know, question the globe in general. But as long as aliens exist, it's harder for people to question the globe because they want to believe there's going to be an alien force that's going to come in and fix all our problems, or, you know, this kind of hope thinking, you know.
Wishful thinking.
Yes, wishful thinking. Yeah, wishful thinking. I looked at your live stream earlier, just I heard you speak about being suppressed, and it wouldn't show me how many live viewers you had. I couldn't find anywhere. I opened and closed the live chat, looked around, and I must have spent a good 2 or 3 minutes. Couldn't find how many live viewers were watching. Wouldn't tell me. And I reckoned there was only a couple of people chatting in the chat, and I knew there wasn't just 4 people watching. You were 15 minutes into the show, but it was only showing 4 people in the live chat. So my point being is that you don't know if people are being shown, will come across the show and they see 4 people and you just leave. They think, there's nothing happening here or something. So that kind of way. YouTube are really like, they can do anything they want to you, basically. So as I said the other day, they're the most unfair employer in history.
We are an extreme danger to the narrative. In this alien narrative, we are the antidote. So we just need massive suppression. That's the only way to keep that narrative alive and well. But if people hear us talking about space being fake and there being no sky vacuum, that undermines every single bit of the narrative currently, and they need to induce huge levels of fear in people.
Yeah, that's why we're public enemy number 1.
Well, as I said, now I know this is an extreme example, right? And I know why she's getting so many views, because of the current situation in the US with what happened with Charlie Kirk and stuff like that, right? Who she was friends with. But Candace Owens, in the past couple of nights, has been getting between 250,000 and 300,000 live viewers. Now, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone getting views like that. Now, there might have been, I don't know, because there's a lot of big YouTubers I don't watch. But that is some phenomenal difference from you fighting to get 90, 100 viewers, live viewers. Like, that is not an accident. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get today, if they left you free, that you're going to get 300,000 live viewers. But you would definitely get a whole lot more than 100. And if there was a lot more live viewers, your enthusiasm levels would go up. I know they would. I know that you'll be more focused on talking about topics within it. It's like there'll be more talk going on concerning gravity and different things, because there'll be more people who are suddenly interested. You know, and so those kind of topics within, or elements within this topic, like we'd be doing more talking about. Instead, we're talking about, not that we're saying we wouldn't be talking about the nonsense to do with aliens and stuff, but we'd be saying why it's nonsense. We'd be going through why it's nonsense for a bigger audience. But it's like, we know the audience listen and know all that. So no point in telling the people what they already know. You know? But this is the most unfair this is the most unfair employment system in the world, or in the history of the world. Because you're doing a live show for about the same length of time as she's doing it, and like she's getting close on 300,000 live viewers, whereas you're looking to get 90 to 100. And they won't even show. When I went there earlier, I couldn't see how many live viewers there was there. YouTube wouldn't show it. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, if the numbers are perceivably small, then we're not of concern. We don't need dealing with, even if we're saying something extremely detrimental. Yeah, but who cares? Because we're in a consensus-based reality. So if the consensus doesn't see fit to address anything we're saying, then it's not worth addressing.
Well, people are duped by consensus. What I mean by that is, for someone else who's trying to do a live show and they're getting, let's say, 600 live viewers in a completely different topic, right? People laugh at that. People out there, like people that person would be in opposition to online, would be making a joke about their tiny live viewership of 600 people, right? Whereas that would be a monstrous live viewership for you, or for me, or for any basic flat earther out there, right? It would be a huge, like 600 people, live viewers, 600 live viewers would be massive. So, but in other arenas, other topics out there on YouTube and social media, 600 live viewers is scoffed at. Now, I understand that there's God knows how many people alive and they have the ability to join and watch a show or whatever. But it's like, so when someone comes across a show that has like 90 viewers, like, or sees a show that has 90 live viewers, they naturally flick away from it because they think, oh, there's nothing going on here. You know what I mean? And it's like there's a lot of people who just won't even look. Like, it's like there's so many people out there who have something to say, right? And even if you're a conspiracy person, right? Let's just give an example. Even if you're a conspiracy person, right, and you talk about the kind of conspiracy stuff that Alex Jones talks about, most people will want to get Alex Jones on their show, right? As opposed to someone else who might be way, way more honest and a lot better than Alex Jones, but they have way, way less followers because they're more suppressed, if you know what I mean. As opposed to being a sensationalist and a lawyer like Alex Jones, they actually have some conspiracy that actually has some merit or something, right? But they are getting way less viewers, and someone won't want them on their show because they'll go, this person only has X amount of subscribers. You know, if someone's looking to know about flat Earth, they come across my channel. I have less than 2,000 subscribers, right? Right, and they come across your channel. They go, who are they going to pick? They're going to pick you. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't pick you or they should pick me. My point is that they're looking at the amount of subscribers you have. But then they look at Witsit and they see his subscribers and David Weiss, and they're going to go for David Weiss because he's the host or something. When he's the worst. Even Witsit's better, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean, as far as, you know, giving some kind of solid information. But David Weiss will just throw out any, I think. You know, he'll start talking about anything.
Have you ever watched Bro Sanchez?
Yeah, now and again. He gets pretty big numbers.
Yeah,
but he's very big in African America, you know, that kind of way. But
whenever I
he
tune
talks
into
about
it,
a lot of
the subject matter is always like no forest on flat Earth, mud flood-esque type subjects that they cover.
Yeah, it's very conspiracy. It's not really like what we do.
It's not necessarily the conspiracy aspect. I'm saying that the aspect of what he covers leaves him open to ridicule, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So he's got a decent audience.
Yeah. I know, yeah, he's got a good audience. He gets a lot of viewers. I listened to some of his show only, in the past week.
Yeah, me too.
I heard him, and not that he's not entertaining, but what they were talking about is like, I can't spend my time talking about that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such speculation. You know, I had to kind of just go, right, I'm gone, like, or whatever. So, but no offense to him, he's a good guy, but it's just like he does he does go down the conspiratorial road a lot. And he's kind of branched out away from flat Earth, but he always comes back to flat Earth. So it's not as if he just used it he always comes back to flat Earth. So like, it's not that he ignores it, but he does.
Does he know Earth is flat?
Oh well, I don't know. You'd have to ask him that. He definitely says it is. At least believe.
I feel like I've heard Bro Sanchez use the elevation angle argument before.
It's not
that doesn't mean you know Earth is flat.
I'm not suggesting he doesn't use good arguments. I'm suggesting that the peripheral subjects that he covers are very conspiratorial.
Yeah, it makes us all look like idiots. So every flat earther that's going down these ridiculous roads, right? Let's talk about the mud floods. Yeah. Let's talk about civilizations that were there but are not there anymore. Let's talk about the timeline being skewed.
Yeah, you've got it, Neil. You've got it.
Sorry, Nick.
It's just junk food. It's all junk food.
That's what I'm saying.
It's fun
all junk
every
food.
once in a while.
Good way of putting it.
That's a better name for it. I like that. Forget the freeze the nonsense. Junk food.
Yeah, but conspiracies and those who promote conspiracy have become way more validated in the past 6 years than they ever were. Way more validated. As all these things that people like Alex Jones or whoever, Candace Owens calls herself a conspiracy theorist, as an example.
I could give you a mainstream example, Brian.
Go on, Sanctuary.
There's a theory called the Great Replacement Theory, which is called a conspiracy theory, but it's now admitted to. And a lot of people will call it a conspiracy theory at the time, 10 years ago, when they called it that term.
Well, if you look at what happened during COVID, there's so many people now that don't trust what the mainstream news are telling them. Never mind the medical world, but just the mainstream news. That because of that, all the people in their friend circle and family who told them, listen, don't believe the news, they're telling you rubbish, they've all been validated. Right? We all know people who wouldn't have listened if we told them, never mind the news. Right? And we would have all been validated by saying that. So that alone is a big step. So what's happening is conspiracies keep on coming true, right? Because it's becoming more and more obvious that things like that JFK was definitely assassinated, and it wasn't by Lee Harvey Oswald, blah blah blah, in a book depository, stuff like that. It's all this kind of stuff is becoming far more accepted. So conspiracies in general, because people who promote conspiracies are seen in a much better light. But the problem with that is they can then get in BS under the door as well, like alien invasions, right? Stuff like that. And so that will only end up looking bad for people. But the point I'm making is, there's that the powers that be have become so brazen that they've validated conspirators, basically. That's what they've done. Now, flat Earth is considered by the mainstream a conspiracy. We know that it's just a fact because it's nothing to do with conspiracy. It's a measurement issue, right? And we know the globe is false, completely false, and for all the reasons we can show. But people like Bro Sanchez would have been people would have eye-rolled listening to Bro Sanchez a few years ago, whereas now they want to hear what he has to say. So it can be good, but also dangerous, because someone could be talking about mud floods and stuff like that, or talking about something, being led down the path into talking about something that is not worth talking about, something that you don't have any evidence for, and something that's more likely rubbish. So it can be tricky. So conspiracy. My point is, conspiracy theorists, if you want to call them that, are more revered now, but that can also go very wrong on a lot of them. Do you understand where I'm going, Nathan? Maybe you can word it better if you do.
Well, all conspiracies are real, of course, except for flat Earth, right? Hello?
Way to go, Arwen. Shut it down. Shut your. Just kidding.
Is Nathan AFK or something?
Just went silent all of a sudden.
I thought it was like the internet connection or something.
Maybe he's on mute. The panel's on G plus or muted also or something.
Oh.
It's just speculation. I don't know. I'm just out here working on fences.
I can't check his YouTube channel because it's a members only stream, so I don't know what they're doing. But I mean, I thought it was kind of relevant though, right? With conspiracy researchers, I don't call them theorists. There's conspiracy researchers is the phrase for it. They have become much more prevalent. They're moving in on the mainstream a bit. And it really is, everything is potentially true, could be figured out, and then the world's a strange place. But not flat Earth, though. Like anything but flat Earth. It really has become that. There's so many of these people that are now getting more prominent, and they talk about everything. They're like news speakers almost. But not flat Earth, though. Definitely not that, right?
Yeah, it's only when they talk about the Earth and they'll describe it flat without even realizing it.
Of course, it's always got to hide in plain sight without them realizing it. It's just they got to get used to that the Earth being flat and measured.
What are you doing here? You're not supposed. We don't entertain. We don't entertain you.
Hey,
the freak out.
Oh,
what's wrong with you? And nobody tell me anything. What is he doing in Discord? The freak out.
Okay. Where's Nathan?
A lot of shit to say. What are you even doing here?
Just visiting.
Le fric c'est chic.
I thought everybody was welcome.
Yeah, but not me, of course.
He knows the way home.
That's not what Nathan said.
Stevie, leave it alone.
Yeah, but Neil. Yeah, well, I mean,
Stevie.
Neil.
We don't entertain. We've discussed this. We went through this.
No, you went through it.
No, we went through this.
No, you didn't do shit. And
What
nobody agrees with
Get
you.
out of here. Where is it? Right here?
Neil.
Nobody agrees with you, Neil.
I'm not trying to start anything, Neil, but isn't it a bit hypocritical? Didn't you just say that me and Eli are going to hash things out and all that?
We try. Oh, that's it. You're out of line here. You don't know what happened. If you weren't there, go back and listen. We tried to hash things out. All right? Brian, am I freaking wrong here?
No, Neil is not wrong. Arwen, you accused me of attempting to murder you, which was complete and utter rubbish. You also accused Adam.
Yeah, and I addressed that. It was literally a hallucination.
And the reason you did, though, the reason you said that rubbish was because
I've talked
the reason
about
you
it
said
on my
that
show,
complete
and I've
rubbish.
apologized. I'm sorry.
The reason
it was
I don't give a damn
literally
what
an
you said. I don't give a
hallucination.
damn what you said on your show. The reason you come up with that complete and utter rubbish is because you just couldn't face up.
It's not rubbish.
Right,
it's
to
literal.
your
I
behavior.
literally had an hallucination. I am very sorry.
Whatever.
I thought it was real. Okay? It's not a joke.
Oh, okay, so I didn't understand.
You've proven
Brian,
yourself
did you say
to not be honest.
You did what?
Can't trust you.
You don't have to trust me. I'm not a part of the panel. I'm just visiting. What the hell?
Well, I'm confused. What did okay. Brian said Arwen did something. Arwen said it was a hallucination. What in the world are you guys talking about?
I hallucinated, not Brian. I hallucinated.
It's more than just that. Listen, you piece of shit. It's more than just that. Get the freak out of here.
Go fuck yourself, you retarded Italian wannabe mafia piece of shit.
Here.
Fuck you, Neil.
Take a vote,
Here we go
and it would be
again.
a massive vote
Stop
that
with it,
they do
guys.
not want you here.
I just want to know what
Neil.
Arwen hallucinated.
Yeah, I
But
did.
that seems like. Would you? Yeah, but what did you hallucinate? I'm confused.
I hallucinated that I was on a video call with these guys, and they literally threatened to kill me. That's what I hallucinated, and it was really freaky. I had very serious anxiety over that. But he doesn't care, and he doesn't give a shit about anything. Yeah, because I'm not a part of your little cult where you get to dictate to me how I behave.
Me on your own show. You think I don't hear? You think people don't send me information? Get the freak out of here.
Oh, fuck yourself, Neil.
Oh, Lord. Arwen, you haven't had any other hallucinations, have you? Or is it just a one-time thing?
No, I do have other hallucinations. I've had them throughout my life. It's been really freaky.
Are you schizophrenic?
Don't have another one. Don't hallucinate that you left.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Neil.
Well, I mean, if someone's got a medical condition where it causes them to hallucinate, I mean, that sucks.
Tough guy on the other side of the line. Listen, you freaking 105-pound chicken wing.
Go fuck yourself, you fucking degenerate retard.
What are you doing here?
Mafia
What are you doing? Owen, what do you want here? You got
I want you to shut the fuck up and leave me be, asshole.
You got 24/7.
Following me
We'll run you out of
around.
there, too.
right, Nathan's not here, so see you guys around.
Go away! Neil's here. Neil says go away.
Fuck you, Neil. You're a fucking degenerate scumbag. Fuck you.
I'm a degenerate? I have a family, my friend.
Yeah, you are a degenerate.
Okay,
That's right,
bitch.
bitch.
Why don't you say what you said? Oh, they want to get rid of me, but they don't know how. So Neil just hangs around in there. But nobody knows how to tell him that they don't want him there. That's delusions of grandeur. Freaking spreading lies for Arwen.
He's gone.
Thank God. I don't entertain his shit.
See, I thought Arwen was kicked to the curb over like the time he got upset about not getting paid or something.
That's not even
realize he
it,
had a-
Maxie. He said a lot of shit. Go backtrack and listen to some of the shows. It escalated from there. He had his chance to come back, and he didn't come right.
No, instead of doing the right thing, what he actually said was, when we were unhappy with his behavior and things he had said and done, he said, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Basically, is what he said. And then after that, and this is when Adam was doing his best to give him as much leeway as possible. Then after that, Adam had a private conversation with him, and he started telling Adam how I had tried to kill him and Adam had tried to kill him. How both me and Adam had secretly attempted to assassinate him. This is the rubbish was coming out of his mouth. And now he's saying, I had an hallucination. He didn't have any hallucination. So he's just making stuff up because he doesn't want
he's a liar.
He's just lying. He just wants to address that he got carried away with his ideas and he said some things he shouldn't have said and some stuff concerning Nathan and that as well. And instead of just saying, look, I did what I did and I was talking rubbish and I'm sorry, he said, I'm sorry you feel that way. In other words, I don't give a damn. Do you know what I mean? I can't be. He's just a.
For guys in Discord, Arwen had a way. He's been addressed a few times, all right? For the way he treated Paula, for the way what he did to 10th Man. We've had meetings with him, okay? This ain't the first time. This is like the last straw when he flipped out on Nathan and then he continued on his little journey asking for money to come back, right? And it went deeper than that. But Arwen, this is his logic. He'll stay away for a while, and then I'll just slide back in, and everybody will forget about it. Well, guess what? This time we decided we're not going to forget about it. You either come back correct, apologize, and be a man. You don't have to apologize. Just say, you know what, guys, I don't know what the freak. I was acting like an asshole, man. I don't even know why. No, not even that. And he pulled it with you guys, sliding in the back door in Discord, and not one of you is addressing it. You entertain his little dark world conversations.
Look, what I'm saying.
Tell him straight out. When you're not welcome here. Goodbye.
Him saying, it sounds to me it's more of a medical issue with him, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist. I mean,
so don't try to be. What are you saying, Brian?
Yeah, this rubbish about he had an hallucination. That's anyone could come up with that rubbish. Do you know what I mean? When instead of admitting that you're talking crap.
You know why he said that, Brian?
Yeah,
it was brought to his attention and his little show that what happened with Adam and the things that he said. And right away in the show, he said, oh, well, you know what happened? I was having hallucinations and I thought these things happened. Did he call you and say, Brian, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I've had hallucinations. Did he call Adam?
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter.
No, but I'm saying, I know it wouldn't have mattered, but did he at least address it? No. He went in his show and lied that he had a hallucination. People are fed up with him.
Well, I'm just fed up of people telling me lies, and I'm not going to waste my time with someone who decides they're going to use fantasy world or illusions as an excuse when they have bad behavior.
Victory Royale!
Don't be telling me about your illusions. You know what I mean? That's a handy excuse, you know?
Yeah, and he thought because Nathan wasn't there at the time that he's just going to stay right in here like he's king shit. No. Don't worry.
Nathan was there all the time.
All right, fair enough. I guess it was. I thought it was just the money thing. I didn't realize it was the whole. He had hallucinations that you guys were going to like murder him. That's a little odd.
He didn't have hallucinations. You see, you're already falling into the trap. There is no hallucinations.
Well, that's what he said. He claims he had hallucinations. If that's what he claimed, then he's got much bigger problems than anything else.
That's what he has to claim because he's embarrassed now about the stupid things he said, and he only said those things to avoid dealing with other problems for things he had done and said. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. This is all down to him not just addressing, the problems in the first place. That's what I was about. Instead of, and I didn't invest to give him chances and everything. I just couldn't bother dealing with that now. I'm not interested in hearing about your illusions or your, whatever. Take him somewhere else.
Listen, we're on a mission here, and you know what? We take this serious. And right now, we got the upper hand. We've always had it. We didn't realize it, but now we have it. There's no time for playing games with all this nonsense, dark world visions and ice walls and Antarctica. We should address it a few times. Listen, we don't speculate here. Well, I do. Well, it's not your show, buddy. And he said a lot of other things, too, on his show. Just reach out to Territ. Territ's got a whole freaking crew that stream his shows live and try to run him out because he insulted the guy Territ. Started making fun of his Indian accent. He was the guy that supported him, gave him money, and just shit all over him.
I like how you guys pretend to be the good guys.
Who is that? Who was that?
I didn't realize it was
Edgewise.
Was that Captain Edgewise?
The clown.
Hold on. Was that Captain Edgewise?
Correct.
Yeah.
Captain Edgewise. You don't pretend to be a liar, though, right? You're just an outright freaking liar. You don't know who Al Baruni is. What are you doing here, you lying piece of shit?
Yeah. You are the good guys. You have the good behavior, right?
Nobody's claiming we're good guys. Nobody's good. No, not one, the Bible says. But we don't go around doing the things that he's done, or we don't lie. That's one thing we don't do here. We don't lie, Captain Edgewise. You freaking lie. You've been sitting here how long? And you got the balls to say you don't know who Al Baruni is? You never heard of him? Get the freak out of here. You ain't got time for jokers.
Look, unlike Nathan, I admit when I don't know something, right? He, about gyros, didn't know it.
No, you're a liar. You're a liar, pal. Don't be wasting our time with your lies.
Yeah, we got no time for you.
3 times in a row yesterday.
Okay, then prove your claim that I'm a liar. Prove it. I said I didn't know it.
You said
so. Isn't that the right thing to do? Admit something you don't know.
Proof. It's proven.
What is proven? What is proven? That I'm
You
liar?
never heard of Al Baruni. You've never heard the name Al Baruni when we spoke about it in this server.
Yeah, I didn't listen to you guys because you were only
you're a lying piece of shit.
Yesterday, hang on. He's 3 lies from yesterday. He never heard of Al Baruni. He's going to produce a 24-hour time lapse of Polaris making a circle in the sky. And then I didn't hear you right. I didn't hear you right. He's talking to me now.
Stop interrupting him, Edgewise.
He's a bullshitter. Stop entertaining him. Edgewise, unless you're some blowproof to
for
produce.
24-hour time lapse of Polaris is stupid and deceiving. You know that. I didn't tell that. I said I could
have you glow-proof Edgewise or not?
A time lapse of Polaris moving. How much movement do you want? If it's not fixed, it's not fixed.
Have you globe-proof or not? Edgewise.
I do have, but you ignore it anyway.
And shut up then if you're not going to present it. Simple as.
Yeah, and then okay, gyro compasses.
You know your religion's based on flat Earth measurements, right? With Al-Biruni.
I didn't look fully into Al-Biruni, so I don't comment.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. I wasn't asking you if you looked it up. Did you hear me ask you if you looked it up? Just repeat what I said. I'm telling you, your religion's based on measuring Earth flat with Al-Biruni. It's not a question. That's a statement.
That would be a lie. If I repeat that statement, it's a lie because I didn't look it up. So
I'm not asking you to look up anything or repeat anything. Did I ask him to repeat anything? Did anybody hear me ask him to repeat something?
No.
Repeat.
I'll just say it again while he talks through me. Third time. Statement of absolute fact, Captain Edgewise. Your religion of a ball is based on measuring Earth flat by Al-Biruni. End statement of fact. No reply required.
Then explain it. If you want.
Oh, he measured Earth flat. He uses horizontal distance measurements and trig to get the height of the mountain.
It will introduce certainly some error, but without looking into it first, I can't.
I didn't ask you to look into anything. I didn't ask you to. You keep appealing to me wanting you to do something. I don't want you to do anything. I am telling you.
Then show how much error there will be with using his method.
Sorry, error? It's a triangulation. A trigonometric function using horizontal distance measurement. It can only be flat to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. So sure. So sure. I didn't ask you to confirm anything. I don't need your affirmation. Are you deaf? That's a question.
No.
Are you hallucinating me asking you for things?
No.
Right. I'll say again for a fourth time. Your religion of a ball is based on measuring Earth flat. End statement of fact. No response is required. I don't want you to look anything up. I don't need your affirmation. I'm telling you.
I have to take a call, sorry.
Right, you've got to take a call? Earth is measured flat for your dumbass globe faith. You stupid lying retard. Gotta take a call. What, right at the point that you need to concede your Earth being measured flat for your religion? Now, you being idiotic, I thought you were taking a call. It seems like you're off mute chanting through me rather than taking a call. And now you're doing it again. So Earth's measured flat. Al-Biruni is part of the globe rhetoric, where they derive an R value for their faith in this ball. The first step in deriving that R value for a faith in a ball is measuring Earth flat. It can only be measured flat, or you don't get to do trig for the height of the mountain, like Al-Biruni measured Earth flat with.
You can still use trig on a globe, but it will...
Like, you're mumbling. Do you want to speak up?
Okay, you can still use trig on a globe, but it will introduce an error the further you get away from the object you're trying to measure.
Oh, that's fascinating. Al-Biruni didn't do trig on a globe. Al-Biruni did trig on a flat Earth. Al-Biruni measured Earth flat. You don't have to talk through me edgewise. I'm still repeating my statement that I've given you 5 times now. Don't need to chant through that, you utter coward lying scumbag. Meanwhile, Biruni did not do trig on a curve. Scumbag, he's just interrupted me again. That's all you've got. You coward ball believer. I'll just say it again. 6th time. 6th time. He's off mute talking through me. 6th time. Coward. Scum. Al-Biruni did not do trig on a curve. Al-Biruni did trig with horizontal distances, or it wouldn't be trig.
That's right. And it will...
Yeah, so Earth is measured flat, that's right. So you now understand how Earth is measured flat, Captain Edgewise. Your religion relies upon Earth being measured flat. No amount of coming off mute in the 7th time of me repeating this will alter how flat Earth has just been accepted to be measured by you. Yeah, you know Earth is measured flat. Quote, you. That's right. Yeah, that's right, he measured Earth flat.
You're astronomy me. That's not what...
Right, we're not talking about astronomy. We're talking about Al-Biruni measuring Earth flat, though, aren't we?
You are strawmanning me?
No, I'm talking about Al-Biruni measuring Earth flat with horizontal distance measurements. Response from you, you're right, end quote, you. That's not a straw man. That's a statement of absolute fact that I have delivered to you 8 times. Not a straw man, a statement of fact about Al-Biruni's measurement of Earth being flat. Fact. Quote from you? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Not a straw man, a fact.
I said, you can still use the calculation, but it will introduce an error.
You can do the calculations after measuring Earth flat?
Nathan, this is the second time he's saying this, where you can still use trig on a globe, but there will be a differential the further the distance is that you're using it for, or whatever.
Okay, I'll accept
that. Means
that.
You can't use it. That means you can't.
That means it's not accurate.
It means you can't use it.
Yeah, it means yeah. Of course, but it introduces an error, but it depends.
So Al-Biruni has got an error, according to Captain Edgeways, the lying scumbag dick. No, there's no claim to be error declared in Al-Biruni's measurement, who you hadn't heard of 24 hours ago. But apparently you now know that there's an error accounted for in the story? No, you've got to lie to Glurf. There is no error in the story of Al-Biruni measuring Earth flat for the height of the mountain. He just measures Earth flat for the height of the mountain. You, someone who claimed to not know who he was because you're a liar, is now telling me there's an error? No, it seems like this man who you didn't know 24 hours ago is being claimed to have made an error. No, there's no declaration of any error in Al-Biruni's flat Earth measurement for height. Earth is... There's Captain Edgewise, 9th time chanting through this devastating fact.
Thought you were done.
Excuse me. I just try it again for a 9th time. Hopefully the 9th time of saying it will come unimpeded from a coward liar. 9th attempt without interruption. 9 times. Al-Biruni measured Earth flat to do trig. End statement.
Yes, and it will introduce an error if you don't account.
Sorry, that's not an error in the story. There's no error in the story of a man you said you didn't know 24 hours ago. Liar.
Yeah.
How does he know about the error if you don't know about Al-Biruni?
Yeah, hang on, Neil. Hang on. If it introduces an error, that means that the height of the mountain wouldn't be correct according to Al-Biruni, according to your error, right? That means when he goes up to the top of the mountain, the height he's using is wrong. So everything after that is wrong. So what you just said is,
and
you just said is that the globe maps are wrong. That's what you actually just said.
But just for the audience's benefit, I've tried 9 times. Brian's tried once, and before Brian got to the end of his statement, he got interrupted by Captain Edgewise about a man he didn't know who he was 24 hours ago. But now, after 24 hours of research, if we're to accept this scumbag liar's deceit about not knowing who he is, suddenly he's an expert about the error. Now he's talking through me again. 10th time. Scum. Let's try an 11th time. This man, despite his lies, his egregious lies, is now an expert on the errors of Al-Biruni, in spite of the fact that the story itself has no declaration of any such error. This is his apologetics for Al-Biruni measuring Earth flat for trig to function. If it wasn't measured flat, he couldn't do trig. He did do trig, that is the official story. It can only be measured Earth flat for it to functionally work with trig. Earth is measured flat by Al-Biruni.
Can you take 100% correct?
No, I don't get to do anything. You don't get to request anything from me. You're a scumbag and a liar. You don't get to ask me anything. I didn't ask you anything. I'm telling you, Al-Biruni measured Earth flat. You don't get to ask a damn thing of me, ever. Because you're a scumbag.
Okay, Brian?
Disingenuous scumbags don't get to ask my panel anything either. I'm telling you.
Yeah, don't want... Oh.
It's not that I want something. I haven't asked for anything. Brian, step off. I'm telling you, you dumbass. Beg for permission again to ask me something.
Do you want to answer it?
No, I don't need anything from you. I know Al-Biruni measured Earth flat. I've told you 12 times. What you've told me is there's an error that is absolutely unequivocally not documented anywhere in the details of what Al-Biruni did when measuring Earth flat to use trig. So you're a bullshitter. Don't need to respond to anything you've got to ask me.
Okay, then there's no discussion. Bye.
No, that's correct. There is no discussion. Earth is measured flat. Al-Biruni, the originator of your radial value, derived that radial value from flat Earth measurements. So yes, Captain Edgewise, first correct statement out of your mouth thus far. There is no discussion. Earth is measured flat. And that's the 12th interruption from Captain Edgewise. Scumbag. Scumbag, I know you can't cope with these facts. You need to turn them into a news story that isn't documented about Al-Biruni measuring Earth flat and using trig, where there's an error. Now that's your made-up shit that I'm not going to tolerate. We don't tolerate lying bastards making up shit here. Meanwhile, Al-Biruni measures Earth flat. What's the reply I got on the 6th attempt? Yeah, that's right. End quote you. Yeah, it is right. That's the story of how he got the height of the mountain. He measured Earth flat for it. These are just facts. So no, there is no discussion. That's correct. Earth's just measured flat.
Misrepresenting what I said, but okay.
But you're mumbling. You're mumbling.
You're misquoting me what I said.
I didn't quote anything from you. I don't need any quotes from a faceless fucktard. What I quoted was Al-Biruni's measurements of Earth flat with horizontal distances and trig. Not a quote from you, you fucking retard. Think I need to quote you? I've got Bubby. Al-Biruni. I've got thousands of years of flat Earth measurement on the books without your bullshit about it being wrong. No, there are no documented accounts of Al-Biruni getting any fucking errors. You've got to lie to Glurf. Even about your own forefather who gives you your belief in a radial value after measuring Earth flat. Now, did I quote you? No. No, I shut you down telling you about Al-Biruni's flat Earth measurements. What you did was lie about knowing him and then come back 24 hours later like you're an expert in a rhetoric that's been laid down for thousands of years. In the thousands of years that people have been allegedly talking about Al-Biruni, the story was always the same. He measured Earth flat with trig. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh no, I can't even remember my point now. Oh yeah, earlier on he was saying, we called him a liar, like, and he said, "Where's the proof that I lied?" There's a whole live stream yesterday or show from yesterday where he lies 3 times. You know what I mean? Where's the proof that I lied? This is are you claiming to be innocent of this? You couldn't be any more guilty. Listen to yesterday's show, you know. But that's what they're willing to do. Willing to just act completely innocent as if nothing happened yesterday, even though he told 3 egregious lies.
But what, now the mainstream narrative of Al-Biruni changes because Captain Edgeware's apparently done 24 hours of research if we're to take his lies as being true. Oh, you didn't know who he was, but 24 hours later you know that thousands of years have got errors accounted for. No, they haven't. You're a liar. You're lying about the errors in the story of Al-Biruni. There are no documented errors. He just gets the height by measuring Earth flat. That's the story for thousands of years. But you, a lying bastard, flies in the face of that rhetoric because it goes against your belief in a ball when Al-Biruni's actually measuring Earth flat. So suddenly there's errors. Not according to your, not my, story of Al-Biruni, the man you denied knowing 24 hours ago because you're a lying fucking scumbag.
Well, it's worse than that because he's admitted that if you use trigonometry on a sphere, there will be errors. You will incur an error. Now, the trigonometry is used all the time by surveyors. throughout mountain ranges, through huge areas of the world. It's constantly used. It's being used for every part of the world that's been surveyed, which is every part of the known, land masses. Right? Trigonometry is being used, but they don't mirror the errors.
Oh, so what he's saying is, if we are to take Al-Biruni's story as true, he didn't get accurate measurements for a ball at all. So it's the hard place then. Al-Biruni got errors not according to the story of him measuring Earth flat that's gone around for thousands of years, but according to you, he didn't accurately measure Earth at all. Yeah, that's according to you, though, Edgewise. That's rhetorical. It's rhetorical. That's according to you, though, Ed. I'm summarising your dumbass fucktard lying bastard points. No, that's not the official rhetoric. Just according to you, he couldn't have measured Earth accurately. According to you, because of errors. So you want to relinquish Al-Biruni's measurements of Earth because you're a glurf, scumbag, lying, disingenuous wanker. Yeah, you want to deny your own measurements. Yeah, we know that. It's called the hard place. It's so common that we've defined this position you find yourself in, Captain Edgewise, where you now deny your own bleeding measurements as being inaccurate. So you don't have any accurate measurements. Yeah. Meanwhile, the accuracy of Al-Biruni's measurements are irrelevant because he's measuring Earth flat for the process to take place at all. So Earth's measured flat.
Well, the implications of what he's saying would mean that the measurements of Mount Everest from Kathmandu Valley, about 100 miles away, that would mean that the angular size of Mount Everest is not matching the horizontal distance to it, because he's saying there's actually a curved distance.
Oh, I see.
That would mean that Mount Everest is not the height they say it is.
I see. So what Captain Edgewise is doing in order to retain his globe faith is pissing in the face of every land survey that's ever taken place ever, rather than accepting that Al-Biruni measures Earth flat. He'd rather piss away every single measurement of Earth's surface ever as being inaccurate. No, Captain Edgewise, you've just got to lie to Glurf. We've defined this position. It's called the hard place, where you deny your own measurements rather than concede how flat Earth must be for them to be called accurate. That's to say, for trig to take place, it must be flat. If it isn't, then you don't have any measurements. They don't have any measurements then. They're flawed, inaccurate, says you. Good job we got thousands of years of documented facts of flat Earth measurements, and you're an insignificant twat. Otherwise, this would have some consequence. The words you say, you stupid retard, have no consequence here. Or ever. We just have thousands of years of documented flat Earth measurements by Al-Biruni, Captain Edgewise. You were unaware 24 hours ago. Now I've told you 13 times. Earth got measured flat whether you fucking like it or not.
Check the educational channel for a source of errors.
So it's wrong. Errors. So Al-Biruni was wrong about radius then. Says you. Not the official rhetoric of Earth being measured flat for trig to take place to accurately measure the height. No, according to you, no globe Earth measurements, all inaccurate, riddled with errors then. So you don't have any Earth measurements then? No radius value then? Al-Biruni was wrong. Why isn't that documented in any official story for the last 1,000 years then? Tell me that. Why isn't that in any of the 1,000 years worth of documented stories about Al-Biruni?
Because everyone else knows it's
But no one else noticed? Oh, you're a fucking genius! It's only Edgewise who noticed that for thousands of years, Biruni's documented flat Earth measurements were wrong. So it's only you that knows that the globe measurements are wrong.
Against Rom, I mean, didn't say that.
Right, the inaccurate measurements are riddled with errors, says you. So it's only you that knows that globe measurements are riddled with errors then, Captain Edgewise.
Didn't say that.
So you didn't say that they're riddled with errors, so you appreciate and understand that there are no errors when he measured Earth flat for trig then.
Okay. Can you measure an angle?
So you're asking me a question. So you know there's no errors when he measured Earth flat for trig then?
Okay, then man, make a statement. Don't ask a question. You can't.
It's a question. It requires a yes or no answer. No statements will be accepted. A yes or no only will be accepted. So you know there's no errors, contrary to your last statements. Lying glurf scum. There's no errors then. I'm straw-manning you when I suggest that you know you don't have any accurate Earth measurements for your ball then, because that's what you've said. You actually are being straw-manned, and you know he was accurate when he measured Earth flat for trig then. Cat got your tongue, bitch. What's wrong with you?
So the official radius value is not matching Al-Biruni's reported value. So where's the source of error?
So who's Al-Biruni?
Yeah, what error? What number did he get? Who was he? You need to know.
And depending on the source, 1%. Other sources claim it's probably not 1%.
But what did Al-Biruni claim?
I think with trigonometry.
What did Al-Biruni claim? Did he measure trig accurately or not with trig? Cat got your tongue, bitch!
Yes.
He did. So he measured
100%?
accurately with
No.
trig. Yes, I heard yes.
No.
So he did not measure Earth accurately then. He did not use trig because it was not flat for trig, says you. Correct?
He didn't even include a refraction, so he was...
Sorry, he didn't use trig. He didn't use trig.
He used trig.
So he measured Earth flat then with trig because that's a flat baseline for a flat triangle. So you understand and appreciate that he did measure Earth flat then?
Yeah, because it was...
Yeah, because... Yeah, so he measured Earth flat then. Cat got your tongue, bitch!
He didn't measure Earth flat.
You just said he did 30 seconds ago. Yeah, he did measure Earth flat with trig.
No, it's not.
So he didn't measure Earth flat with trig. So the thousands of years of documented suggestions of trig, no, they're documented as him using trig and horizontal distance measurement, Captain Edgewise. It's amazing that you, with only 24 hours of research, could be so wrong about this. Shocking. Let me educate you, Captain Edgewise, while you chant through me. It's okay, you don't need to chant through me. I'm going to educate you, dumbass. You've only done 24 hours of research on it. I've done 10 years. He measured Earth flat with trig, Captain Edgewise. Did you not know that? Did your 24 hours of research not show you the trig he used? You dumb?
Yeah,
do you not see the trig?
Method.
Did you not see the trig? It's been documented for thousands of years, you spastic.
He had no other method than this.
So he could only measure Earth flat then?
That's not measuring flat.
So when he took a horizontal distance measurement, you're saying that the trig with straight flat triangle bases isn't straight and flat triangle bases then?
Yeah, ideally not on Earth sphere.
Clearly not. No, clearly, definitely correct according to the rhetoric of Al-Biruni. He measured Earth flat to do trig. You're saying he didn't because you're a fucking lying retard.
So did he...
Why are you asking me something? You don't seem to want to acknowledge that he measured Earth flat with trig. You're saying he didn't. That's incorrect, Captain Edgewise. You're just wrong.
You accepting Al-Biruni?
I'm not asking you to tell me what I'm accepting. I know what he measured. He measured Earth flat to do trig.
And you don't think...
Stuttery bitch! Yeah, that's right, you stuttery little bitch. He measured Earth flat to do trig. Do you understand now? I'm telling you. Told you 14 times.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah. So he measured Earth flat to do trig. It's the only way he can measure to do trig.
And he probably was not aware of what you're saying.
Sorry, you're denying thousands of years of globe Earth rhetoric then? So you want to deny the thousands of years? Oh, he's just run like a coward bitch. Yeah, he knows he's fucked, so he has to run. Bye-bye. Let's just reiterate the winning point this coward bitch lying glurf scum ran from. Earth was measured flat with trig by Al-Biruni. There is no two ways about this absolute stone-cold fact. All scum glurf can do is deny how Al-Biruni measured Earth. And that's exactly what he did. Right up until the point that I say, so you say he didn't measure a ball accurately. Oh, no, he didn't. No, all right. Well, then he can't have done trig, like has been documented. So he can only be in either the rock or the hard place. And what's he done? Run like a coward. So anybody else want to tell me that I what? Shut down the conversations, mute people? No, I don't. What I do is point out to glurf lying scum that claim they don't know who Al-Biruni is that you either accept he measured Earth flat to do trig, or you don't. If you don't, you haven't got any measurements. If you do, he measured Earth flat. Those are the only solutions to this little predicament that glurfs and their scummy lies find themselves in. End result, they run from me.
Yeah. Remember we talked about how the opposition make claims in a vacuum. Well, his claim there that trig does work, but it will leave an error if it's when you use it on the globe. And then he started talking about Al-Biruni and claiming there was an error there. Right? Because of that vacuum, he was trying to change history and change reality. And because of that, it meant that all angular size measurements made by surveyors and anyone else, engineers, after that point, were all wrong. So we don't know so that would mean that we can never tell the actual height of something if we know the actual distance to it using an angular size.
Yeah, better way of putting it, much better.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian's bow is better than mine. Either you relinquish all measurements of Earth as inaccurate, or you accept Earth is measured flat. Those are your choices, because that's how we measure Earth.
Exactly.
So, what did he do? Yeah, just want to point this out to my audience just for a second time, because there's quite a few glurf scumbags who suggest that I shut down conversations. No, glurf scum came and attempted to deny how Earth got measured as, quote, inaccurate, until you rely on having trig to measure it. And when we point out that in order to measure anything you require this to be true, you need to toss out all measurements of Earth's surface ever in order to retain your globe faith and say that Al-Biruni's wrong. No, Al-Biruni's just measuring Earth flat. But that's not very appealing to these scumbag glurfs who have to lie and deny their own bleeding rhetoric.
Yeah, because they live in a circle, as in mentally, as in, or they have to give Al-Biruni the R value before he measured it, just like with Eratosthenes. Not that he did none of them measure, they all measure the Earth to be a flat plane. But the point is that they must give them that in the first place before they can ever claim that they measured it. It's ridiculous. And it's so bad, as I said, with that arguments in the vacuum mentality, is you throw everything out the window. The implications of of your argument can be far-reaching, as was shown there, you know.
Yeah, geodetic surveying fails. Geodetic surveying fails completely if his errors are to be accepted. Now, there's no error if you're doing trig, it's flat. Or you're not. Now, how do we measure Earth to get some mountains, like exampled by Brian earlier, with trig? So all of those are wrong then? No, surprisingly, we build things on the surface of Earth, and for convenience, we do the same process when we build things. We measure it flat with trig. Nobody's saying, oh no, we can't put this building on this level surface we've just utilised because Al-Biruni was wrong. No, nobody's saying that. No, we do actually use this process. That is how we measure Earth. It is measured flat. Right up until the point that you have to accept that flat Earth measurement. And then what? It's inaccurate? No, we wouldn't be building things.
Yeah, all measurements of the Earth, according to via the implication of what he said, are wrong. As in, nothing is correct. Everything has error. And all that error is connected to a globe.
Yeah.
Like you try to red herring with a refraction, go way back. As if we're going to fall for that.
Yeah. So if it's accurate, Earth's measured flat. Or you can say it's inaccurate, in which case you've got no ball measurements. Choose.
Exactly.
Like I say, it's defined. This is called the rock and the hard place. Either you've got no measurements, because according to you, quote, they're inaccurate. Not trig. Bent baselines. All right, not trig then. So he failed at the first hurdle. No, he did. He did actually successfully do trig. Then he measured Earth flat. No, they weren't really flat baselines. They were curved. He just didn't know they were curved. Then he wasn't doing trig. Oh, he was doing trig. Well, then Earth's measured flat.
Yeah, they have to throw everything out the window just to try and hold on to their faith, or globe set faith. It's ridiculous, but that's what they're willing to do.
It's pathetic. And when I say, right, well, if it's not accurate, you don't have any accurate measurements. Oh, you're strawmanning me. No, I'm repeating the rhetoric of your globe faith based on your claim you have a radial value measured by Al-Biruni. And to do it, he measured Earth flat first. No, he was inaccurate. Okay, so he didn't measure Earth flat. He didn't accurately measure Earth then. Oh, he did. He was just within 1%. Okay, so he was within 1% when he measured Earth flat for trig. No, he didn't do it. And round we go with the rock and the hard place, a little dance between the two. Now, I don't give a shit where you end up. Either you end up with there being no accurate measurements for a globe Earth, or you end up accepting that the measurements he made were for flat Earth, which is the reality, the facts. That's how it's described, and has been according to them. Not that I even fucking believe Al-Biruni even existed. For thousands of years.
To be honest with you, and it became this way a good while back. But within this arena, especially on this show on QEs, it's not a debate, because there was never a debate, really. Right? And it's not a discussion. It's not a conversation, because you don't turn up somewhere to have a conversation with somebody and then make a point of lying to them. Right? That's not what you do. What it is an interrogation. I said this some years ago, and people weren't really catching on to what I was saying. It's like to have someone that you know committed a crime or did something, and you have to interrogate them to the point where they end up flip-flopping and changing their story and contradicting themselves. You know what I mean? And then trying to escape and everything. Till you get the truth out of them. Because they're lying, and that's what it's like. It's more like an interrogation now. To be honest with you.
That's a good word for it, Brian. I like it. But it's funny because yesterday you don't know who Al-Biruni is, but today he knows all the details. Yeah. Bullcrap details. And he's trying to push that off on an audience.
Today knows how wrong Al-Biruni was. All right, so you know how he failed to get your globe measurements. Because he wasn't doing trig. They don't like that. They don't like me saying, so you don't have any measurements then? Oh, we do. We just have to accept our Earth is measured flat for those to be successfully implicated. In which case you've measured Earth flat and it's the end of the discussion. Oh no, they were inaccurate. I'd rather throw Al-Biruni under the bus than accept how flat Earth got measured.
Exactly, Nathan. Exactly.
He'll be back tomorrow or later on saying, give me proof that I lied.
Yeah, another red herring.
Well, all you got to do is view it. All you got to do is listen back. They're desperate right now.
They've always been desperate, Neil. Always. In 2015, nobody could show our curve. From that point on, the desperation started. It just was none. They couldn't show it because it's not there. It's that simple. It was never there.
Yeah, but they had like they portrayed it like they were in an authoritative teaching position. Now we've stripped that away from them. Now they're nothing.
Well, they had to. They had to give the impression that we didn't understand something, because they had to convolute the whole situation as much as possible for as long as possible, simply because they didn't have any geometric evidence. They couldn't show our curve in 2015. Right? Now, if you go back to 1996, right, it was going to be a little bit more difficult to prove your point, right? Whether you're claiming it's a globe or flat, right? So there's a little bit more grey area. But in 2015, no, we had the cameras. We had whatever you need to show whether this Earth curve existed or not. And it didn't. 2015. There was none. And ever since then, they've been desperate, but they put up a front that made it seem like they weren't. And they're just getting more and more desperate as time goes on. Like, if it's real, you'll be able to show it. It's that simple. You should be able to show this. And they weren't able to show anything. Same as they can't show it today. And they never will be able.
Brian, are you claiming that we do not have technology, knowledge, or method to determine these angles from a sphere?
Well, the only measurements they could ever talk about were flat plane measurements, horizontals and verticals. That's all they could ever talk about, right? And obviously involving, well, angles is included there because, you know, if you're dealing with measurement of Earth, you're only dealing with azimuths or elevations, you know. So the thing is that they never had anything, but they kept on making it seem like they had something because they convoluted and confused the situation as much as possible, and then they backdoored some flat Earth measurements in.
Exactly, the backdoor.
Yeah.
Or you have conspiracy cats without give you a flat Earth, all right? They can't do it without a flat Earth. They can't get any measurements without it being flat. Makes me sick that we didn't catch this earlier. Well, I didn't.
Well, every bit of this progress has been detailed in my book, hasn't it, Neil? The progress from
absolutely
all roads leading to a flat Earth to the conclusion, and the book changing its name to just Welcome to Flat Earth, because all of the evidence always requires Earth be measured flat. There aren't any exceptions. The only way you can try to get around it is to deny the measurements. Now, if you're using those measurements to claim you've measured a ball, then you're denying your ball measurements. So, yeah, the end result of this is, in my opinion, the only way to end any discussion is to put it in these terms, rock and hard place. Either you accept Earth is measured flat, that's how it's measured, or you deny it, in which case you've got no measurements.
Yeah, you put them in a bad situation there for them.
If there's an uptick in general flat Earth viewership as a result of the book coming out, given that literally today I've gained an appreciation of why we're so bleeding heavily suppressed currently, all I'm going to want to talk about is outer space being fake. That's all I'm going to want to talk about. And laugh at idiots who sit in perpetual fear of being attacked by friggin' aliens. And I'm going to call them dumbasses. Like, you believe you're going to get attacked from an area that doesn't even exist? A violation of natural law? I mean, did you not pay attention to science class when they detailed how gas fills space? Have you never experienced a fart and how it spreads out in all directions? But yet you think there's an area above your head where gas isn't filling that aliens are going to come and get you from? What kind of a retard are you?
Not only that, in that area, they think we're floating on a ball.
It was invented with flat Earth measurements.
It's funny because I got my nephew in the car. He had to take his dog to the vet, so he's here in the show. And I'm trying to explain to him, I'm like, listen, this whole alien stuff, outer space is fake. I mean, the star, the moon, the sun, right? The stars, the moon, the sun, and they're all above us. We're not floating anywhere. It's all a bunch of nonsense.
What's the deal with Arwen coming in?
I don't know, but I didn't know he came in, or I would have been on his ass a lot quicker. They're not happy about it in chat either. They were like, Nathan, why is he here?
I mean, I wasn't going to say it to his face, but whoever said all are welcome was correct. I wasn't going to kick him out. So I just felt it was better to keep my mouth shut. He's in Discord. He's welcome to be in there. but it doesn't change my general demeanour towards him.
Now he's trying to cop out. Well, I was hallucinating. I've been hallucinating my whole life. Yeah, when you take drugs, you hallucinate.
He wasn't hallucinating. That's another lie. Yeah.
I know. But he does talk about his little dark world experiences, and Adam pinned it to him. You are on hallucinogenics. No dark world. Now he's using that as a scapegoat. We know damn well. When he found out that it was people were finding out that he claimed that you guys were trying to kill him, that's when he went into his little, I was hallucinating that. I've been hallucinating my whole life. Come on, you double down on your lies. You're going to stroll back in here after a few months and just like mosey on in and everything's okay? Well, it's not okay.
No. Arwen's problem is he can't admit to himself that he's full of shit. That's what the problem is. He can't admit to himself that he's a liar. As soon as he admits to himself, I'm a liar, as soon as he says that to himself and admits it and accepts it, then he can have a change of personality, change for the better. But he won't admit to himself that he's a liar when he is an outright liar.
Right, and he's got the balls to call me a degenerate?
Well, he'd rather say he's hallucinating than accepting that he's a liar.
Oh, it doesn't sound like he's got the best mental health either.
Not to do with mental health. It's got to do with you accepting whether you're a liar or not. Just think about mental health, right? You are responsible for you. And if you're lying to people and you won't admit that you're lying to people and you're trying to say you're hallucinating instead of lying, which is another lie, that's not a mental health issue. That's an attitude issue.
He's the guy, he refuses to go at least try to get employment and gets mad at people for not supporting him when he's putting up these outrageous shows that they're so good. He does nothing. He puts nothing into anything and wants people to support him. I mean, look how far look how far this show has progressed. Nathan puts into it. Nathan puts the work in. Nathan buys the proper equipment. He wants his show to be perfect. And when he hears a show that sounds like crap, it drives him crazy. Now, that's a guy that's putting into his job.
Yeah. It's not fair to say he's never done anything because he does. He does his show 5 or 6 days a week. Now, the show doesn't make progress because of the way he never wanted to change. He never wanted to do things differently. When something's not working, it didn't matter to him. He just wants to keep doing it until somehow it magically does work. Point is, he doesn't do nothing. That's not fair, and that's not true. I speak truth. I don't speak. I don't care if he's telling lies about me.
That is not a show, Brian.
Hey, listen, he's making a point of being there and doing this a couple of hours a day. He's doing something. He's just not doing it successfully. Give him at least that.
I give him nothing.
Yeah, but it hurts more when it's someone like Arwen or even Jaren. Yeah, when you perceive somebody to be on your side, a friend, and then they stab you in the back, it's going to hurt more.
Absolutely.
So, by comparison, Captain Edgewise, in reality, as much as it might sound like I've got a lot of disdain for the guy, really I don't. You know, I don't care. I will have forgotten about him by the time the show ends. Arwen, Jaren, very different kettle of fish.
Yeah, I don't have any, other than I know Edgewise is a lawyer. He went to die. Other than that, I don't think about him at all. Not gonna, as much as he won't even think about me.
Right, and when someone stabs you in the back, you don't allow him to stab you in the front. That's it. You cut ties and move on. Because if you stab me in the back once, you're going to do it again.
You can't trust someone who does that to you. In the story, you can never trust a person.
Exactly. That's the proper word. You cannot trust them.
If you're that expendable to that person, that they're willing to do that, then that means they never cared about you. They never cared.
Exactly, Brian, exactly. That means they didn't give two craps about you if they were so willing to just easily knife you in the back. They never had a care for you in the first place. You were just nothing to them.
Exactly. They were always thoughts. And that is your personal responsibility, right? Just like I'm saying, Erwin has a personal responsibility to accept that he has been lying to people. You and I and everyone has the personal responsibility to accept when someone has been lying to you. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's true. You have to accept it. When someone has done you wrong, that stabbed you in the back, you have to accept that that person never respected you, never cared about you, and that you were expendable to that person for whatever means and whatever gains they got. So consequently, you have to accept that you can never, ever trust that person ever again. There is under no circumstances. That's what you must do. It's a tough station. I'm not going to, because I've had to personally do it. It's a tough station because there's people. The worst thing is you have memories. Right? It's tough. You have memories of people. And you go, hang on, you have to go, no, none of those memories were real. Right? Because what you were there, the person you thought you was there in those memories was never there. It was someone else completely. So that's your responsibility. So if you have to be honest with yourself, right, and say when you were being a liar, or if you were a liar, admit it, then you must also accept when someone is being lying to you. And you must accept that, and don't fight against it. Because the truth is the truth, whether you like it or not, isn't it? Look, let's be honest. What's the point at this stage in us wasting our time? The ballers are going to like us. That's going to happen. They're going to bullshit us, strawman us, whatever, right? We accept that. But on our own side, we should not accept anyone being in any way dishonest. You have to be able to go, no, cut ties, that's it, you're done. Because there's no point in doing anything else, right? These people are supposed to be on your side. The people you oppose and oppose you don't expect them to be nice to you. Do you know what I mean? I'm not expecting Captain Edgewise to be my friend or to be honest, right? I would prefer it if the person was, but I'm not expecting the person to be. Well, I do expect the people who are on my side to be honest with me, if you're claiming to be on my side.
Exactly. It hurts a lot more when it's someone like Jaron or Arwin because you've built up a rapport with them and there's a certain mutual trust that gets shattered and you can't rebuild that. Now, maybe you can, but it takes a lot of effort on the part of the person that shattered that trust for you to do that. Whereas that's not what Arwin in this instance is doing. He's just popped in. Now, there's a reason everyone just fell silent immediately. Just no one wants to interact because that speaks volumes. Yeah, it was 30, 40, 50 seconds of silence, but it's because literally nobody wants to interact with him anymore. Now, you can't help how you feel. When that happens, you just have to go with it. You can't change how you feel. Same would apply to Jaron. Jaron suddenly came on the scene and started talking. Perhaps you'd start talking to him like a baller because he's become one, right? But you can't just maintain your old trustful relationship that you've built up over the years with that person because it's been destroyed.
Exactly, you can't do it. When Arwin came in, the options were I heard him there, and I had just been talking, and he said something on the end of what I had said, as an add-on to what I said. And what he said was relevant, totally relevant. I made a totally relevant point, but I knew I couldn't respond to him. My options were just be quiet, right, and say nothing, right, or tell him to go away, one or the other. That was my options. And I decided, look, I'm just going to be quiet. Hopefully he'll get the message. Or someone in Discord will start talking and the conversation will change and he'll be drowned out of it or something. But no, eventually Neil came in and Neil couldn't deal with him anymore. But it's like you don't have a choice. You can't pretend. I can't go, yeah, everything is great. It's not great. There's nothing great about it. It's like I can't trust you. So I can't have a relaxed conversation with you if I can't trust you. I don't care if it's online. Don't care if it's at the bus stop. Don't care if it's in my own home. I can't do it.
Which is such a shame, because we spent years building rapport with Arwen and arguing with him, right? That's how you build strong friendships, when you debate internally. So through many a show, there's plenty of disagreements between Arwen and myself, or whoever and Arwen, or more recently, let's say Brian, just because he was the last person talking. But there's never a point that I'd say, even if I think Brian's wrong, I know that I'm not saying you have been, Brian, in this example, but if there was one, where I know you believe you have the courage of your own conviction. You're not saying it to be disingenuous or to bullshit me, even if you're wrong, right? So based on that, I'll argue all day with you, and we're not going to lose an ounce of friendship over it. But the minute you've got somebody who's saying things like, why aren't I getting paid? You're like, well, why would you be? And then I don't want to repeat what has gone on, because it's sad. It makes me sad.
I understand. No, I mean...
he's going to play on that now.
We've had vicious arguments, like me and you, me and Adam, even with QE a little bit, but not much like with QE, obviously. And with me and John, my God, me and John have gotten really nasty. I got really nasty with John. Me and Eli, even me and Chocolate have argued. And me and Neil up to a point, but not too much, but we have argued. But once it's done, like even with me and John, no matter how nasty it gets, like within a minute later, it's like back to normal. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's nasty in the moment, but he's still my friend, so I don't hold anything. You know what I mean? It's over. When it's over, it's done. I don't hold on to it, if you know what I mean. Now, there was a couple of days here where we had a long-term argument, but that's done with now. But the point I'm making is that there are certain things, even though I'm arguing with him, and he's arguing with me, and it's vicious, whether it be me and him, or me and you, Nathan, or me and Adam, or whatever, I know that there's certain things I can rely upon, right? I can rely upon, like, if the subject changed and something happened, that I could phone you for some reason, that you wouldn't go, the hell with him, I'm not talking to him. He was talking the way he was speaking to me earlier. No, that wouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? I know there's certain things I can rely upon, certain good graces and things like that. But that's not true with somebody you can't trust. If you can't trust, like someone, which you can't trust Arwen, I can't. How are you supposed to have a conversation? How would you have an honest conversation with Arwen now, knowing that he's willing to outright lie? You can't. You can't have that conversation. The chances of that are gone, and it's a pity because for so long, like we really did our best, and I think we had to get to a collective acceptance that Arwen was a liar. We had to get to that collective acceptance, I think, that we didn't have for a long time. We looked past a lot of his bad behaviours and his bad traits because of his good traits. But it turns out his good traits mean nothing because that was never really him. The real him never cared about anybody or anything. Which is why he was willing to say, I'm sorry you feel that way. When it was pointed out to him about his bad behaviour, he was sorry that you were feeling bad. Not sorry that he had done the thing that caused someone to feel that. Do you know what I mean? And that spoke volumes about his behavior, about him and his attitude then. So it's a lot more difficult. As you said, if Jaron comes in, I can only treat Jaron as a baller. Now, not that I have any communication with the guy ever, really, with the exception of the odd text or comment on YouTube. Other than that, never had any conversation with him. But it doesn't matter. He can only be a baller now. Say for Ranty, you can only treat Ranty like a baller, can you? Can't you? How else do you want to treat him? You know he's a little bit different than the average baller, but you can't trust him any more than the average baller.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, not untrustworthy. You call me a freaking degenerate. You're gonna turn around and say, "Oh, they don't even want." He was saying this on Earth Awakenings. They don't even want Neil on Flat Earth Debate. He just hangs around, and they don't. they have no way of getting rid of him. Nobody wants to hurt his feelings. And he's telling them that he's heard this from people on the inside, like the main guys. Nathan can't bring himself to get rid of him. You freaking lying piece of crap.
That's Arwen. That was Arwen. He's describing his situation. That's projection. He was describing his situation, not yours.
I just got no, and then you're gonna, somebody gives you out of their hard-earned money $10, and you're gonna piss on it and say that's all you ever give me was $10 a month. I'm tired of that. Well, excuse me, buddy. Instead of being thankful, you're tired of it. I got no use for people like that. They just weigh you down. It's like a weight, a heavy weight that's hanging on you.
Yeah, anyone gives you anything, you should be happy for it. Once it's not given to you as an insult, right? That's a different thing. You can insult someone by giving them something very menial, right? You can do that, depends on who you give. But if someone is genuinely giving you something, if it's a $1 or $10 or whatever, £1, £10, whichever, it makes no difference. They're giving you something. If it's just to give you, not with any bad intent, purely here is this money, it doesn't matter if it's only 10 bucks. What does it matter? You're getting something you didn't have. But Arwen didn't appreciate. And Nathan has no money. I don't mean that in a bad way, Nathan, but like over the years, you've not been flush at all. Since I've known you, since I first came across you in 2015, you have not been flush with cash in any way. And yet you were giving him, money on the side to help him out. I mean, and he downplayed that. It's not all I'm getting. It's not all you're getting. You don't deserve that at all. Now that we know who you are. Do you know what I mean? You didn't deserve it in the first place. Nathan would have been better off giving it to the homeless guy he comes across in the centre of town.
We all knew what he was going to do. He was going to wait for a while and then try to slip back in like nothing ever happened. And sorry, Adam talked to him on the side. He knew the way to come home, and he refused to humble himself. So I got no use for you now. Now it's beyond that. He ever came back, I leave for good.
Oh, I definitely hope he comes back. I'm kidding. That's why it took so much.
I was waiting.
That's why it took so much to mess with all the 24/7 nonsense.
So, and all we used that, and what happened was, you allowed him to come into Discord, and nobody addressed him. A few times I went in there after the show and said, "What are you entertaining him for?" It's the reason why. That's his little game that he plays. May sound mean and harsh, but it's not. It's justified.
Well, if Nathan says he's allowed,
what?
If Nathan says he's allowed into Discord, then he is. It'll have to be Nathan, because what I mean is that we can't tell him to go away. We can just ignore what he says.
No, I can tell him to go away. I just told him to go away, and he went away. I'll do it every time. I'll do it every time he comes in.
I was just saying that Nathan may or might stop you with that. I don't know what Nathan's position is on.
No, they know the deal, because Refracted went in there one time and had to eliminate him, but you don't give him any space, because with that space, he starts to move in. And then what happens then? It's the same old person that told 10th Man to die, that had issues with Paul, that has issues with me, that has issues with Nathan. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that if Nathan says to us not to do it, then we kind of.
I'm not going to stop you. If you want to tell him to get lost from Discord, you can do whatever you like. But it doesn't change that it's an open door policy in Discord.
Yeah,
all right, that clears it up then. That clears it right up.
Yeah, I asked Righteous for mod powers there, just for that, so I could boot him when he comes in, but he won't give them to me. So what are you gonna do? When he comes in, I gotta tell him, "What are you doing here? Get the hell out! Nobody wants you here."
Out to Righteous Force.
And then he shows his true colors. Starts calling me a degenerate. Starts claiming he hallucinated. I'm sorry. So he was about to cry. That was the next act. Let me cry.
Righteous Force has more wisdom than he's given credit for.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
Yeah, just give me a loan of baseball bat so it can turn it into a Moro weapon. No, you're not getting it.
Right, but do you know the day that transpired when he left the show? Nathan offended him, and he left, and he started making that video. I left the show, went to his channel, and said, "What are you doing?" Try and stop him because I knew the way he was going down, and he told me shut the F up and get out. So I did.
He's going to do the only, like, it's obvious what he was going to do, which is exactly what he doesn't do, which is what he is doing. He's going to do that because he's hoping at some point that it'll all just blow over. It won't.
Hey, look, Nathan, listen, Nathan gets shippy with me every now and then. He told you to off. Did you get offended and go make a video how you're going to bash his skull in? And I'll tell you what, I laughed at that because I said, Nathan will smack the living crap out of this kid. He thinks he's going to go in there and beat Nathan up. All 5 feet of him, 102 pounds. Nathan will annihilate him.
I don't think that's the case at the moment, Neil. I think a stiff push would probably do me in.
Well, back then you were in better health.
Kick his ass in Fortnite.
So what do we do now? How do we prepare for these aliens?
Well, what you'll notice is that I was thinking earlier, and I was going to say it, but the topic changed. I can't remember what it was, and that it changed is what I mean. But the public, like I was very aware of it, right after kind of COVID times, or when people started realizing that things were not as this, let's say, as the news would tell them, or the experts they trusted were telling them, or the experts they trusted them were telling them a different story than they were telling them 6 months beforehand. And most people would just forget about that. But due to social media and people actually making a point of remembering these things and saving the audio and video of what was said, there was podcasters able to play the audio and video of what this person said, whether it be Anthony Fauci or whoever, 6 months previous, as opposed to what the person is saying today. And that allowed people to see what they had forgotten. Because that's the thing about the news. You watch the news all the time. No, not me. But that's what makes me and people like me, maybe yourself, Nathan and Neil and whoever else, that's what would make us different than the average everyday public. They watch the news, and 6 months later, the person on the news is telling them a completely contradictory story to what they said 6 months previous. And they accepted the story 6 months previous as total fact and truth, and they're accepting what's been said today as total fact and truth, and not connecting the two events together at all, right? And that's why I couldn't watch the news, because I knew I couldn't handle listening to just straight out lies. So I was actually barred. Many years ago, I was barred from being in the room when the news was on, because no one could watch the news, because I was constantly pointing out where they were lying and contradicting their stories and all this way back. So the thing is this, what I noticed happening was that when people started realizing that they were being lied to and they were being given contradictory positions from these supposed experts, they started going to the position of, or these experts or these people, they're dimwits, or they don't know what they're talking about. Or, you know what I mean? People want to go to, these people must be stupid. They can't just be lying to me. No, they're not stupid. Anthony Fauci is not stupid. He's just a liar. And people do not want to accept that they've been lied to. They'd rather believe in their own head that these people that they would have revered as experts, I'm just using Anthony Fauci as the example, it doesn't matter. There were so many lawyers, let's just say, during that time, right? Supposed experts and all the rest of it, that were promoting XYZ. The point is that people were more happy to accept in their own minds that these people were incompetent. The same thing for politicians. They'd rather accepted in their own minds that politicians are incompetent. They couldn't, they couldn't organise getting drunk in a brewery, right? This kind of attitude. It's like, when no, they're not stupid. They're just liars and robbers and manipulators. And people just do not want to accept that. So they'd rather go to how somebody's just silly or stupid. You have people making excuses for politicians, let's just say some of the most powerful politicians in the world, if you want to call them powerful. But people making all kinds of excuses for these people. But these people are just like as if they're being fed a wrong story, so they're telling me they're only saying this because they're believing other people who are lying to them. No, that person there is lying to you. They just don't want to accept that. They're even making it so the lies are second-hand lies that aren't connected directly to them. No, you're being lied to and you're believing it. And you'd rather tell yourself that the person telling you a lie is being lied to, or that person is incompetent. No, you're being lied to. They're not incompetent. They're just liars. And people will not accept that. And that's one of the main things that holds people back from accepting truth in the world. And the truth of the world, like what we promote, this subject, the most important topic of all time. Nobody wants to even address it, and most people just want to believe it's nonsense, or it's a nice fantasy or something. They don't want to accept that. No,
well, that's how they made it, right?
Huh?
But that's how they made this topic to be nonsense for that reason.
Yeah, but it comes down to people not wanting to accept. They don't want to accept when something has been a fraud. They don't want to accept it. Even let me give you an example. Right now, Nathan, you can stop me at any point you think that I'm saying that and that might cause you problems. I hear people saying, right, talking about the COVID times, and they were all like, during that time, they were telling everyone, never mind that, don't listen to any of them, they're lying, it's all this, that, right, all this, right? But then they were saying, get this drug sorts out the COVID, or do this thing, or it's like, there is no COVID. It's just a name they gave to the winter viruses of that year. They could have done that any year. There is no COVID. So now you have people, this is the thing, people now, I'm constantly hearing it, I've gotten COVID. Like, you didn't. You just have a cold or a flu. That's all you have. You don't have COVID. As in, they might give names to things, call it the COVID viruses. There's a certain amount of them. But saying I've got COVID, that means you are still, even though you might know that the whole charade that went on around it was all just a charade. You are now saying I've got COVID. 6 years ago, you would have said I've got a cold or I've got a flu. You wouldn't have said, I've got COVID. Why are you suddenly saying I've got COVID? You don't have COVID. You just have a cold or a flu. There is no COVID. The COVID in their mind that they believe exists or did exist never existed. Even people who weren't duped by the whole thing will now say, I've got COVID. Like, how can you say you've got COVID? Or say that you've got drugs to kill COVID? Or you can get this and that on type of medicine and that sorts out COVID. No, there is no COVID. What came from the lab in China, it was developed by Fauci. No, it never existed. They just told you that it did. They could have told you, and that's why every symptom was a symptom of COVID. Do you know what I mean? Every symptom is a symptom of COVID. Every measurement is a measurement of a globe. It's like, no, none of them. Like, there is no globe. It's the same thing in a lot of ways. People just can't seem to see that, like, when you say, I've got COVID, that means they did still trick you. You still are tricked if you say that. Because in your mind, you're thinking you have something that's connected to something that happened a couple of years ago. No, you just have the same nonsense as you would have had in the 1980s. A cold or a flu. You know what I mean? It's people won't accept, when they've been duped, and they won't even see the extent of the dupe that they've fallen into. And I like talking about people who I know, who for sure knows that that whole COVID time was fraudulent. But yet they'll still say, I picked up COVID. Like, how can you say that? Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah.
It's not about COVID. It's about people's mentality. It's like showing without a doubt, and being shown without a doubt that the moon landing never happened, and that there wasn't any measurements of the globe, and still going, they've all been lying. Right. So what is the truth of this globe? What globe? There is none. Do you know what I mean? They just won't accept that there is. These things just don't exist. They don't exist. And so it was a complete fraud from the start. I shut up. I think I've said my piece.
Mic check.
Yeah. Hey, hello, Mike. Check. Neil.
Hello, Mike. You okay, Mike?
Hey, Arthur.
Hello. That was really profound, Brian, what you just said in your monologue for the past 5 minutes. It was really profound. And I would like to bring us back to the point of flat Earth instead of delving deeper into this COVID nonsense.
And then you're going to do whatever you're going to do after that, right? You want to go now?
You're off mute, Neil.
All right, sorry, guys. Right, Arthur, what's up?
All good, Neil. I am stuffed. But I wanted to bring us back to the point of flat Earth because it was really profound what Brian just said, that people just wouldn't accept the lies and choose to believe the ideology and what they are being told by the powers that be. So, they have created ingenious evil beings who can do that same shit for them in the form of all these chatbots. ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and Grok was my latest victim. And I made Grok admit that the Earth is measured flat. Just that it would say in the end, locally. And I have conversations with it where it says, yes, for all practical purposes, the Earth is measured flat. Still, actually, it is a globe. And you can think of it, you can picturize it as a 1 foot tape measure being spread across hundreds of kilometers. So it is gradual. For all practical purposes, for navigation, everything, we measure it flat. Still, actually, it is a globe. So that was my latest interaction with these beings who can lie to everyone. They are lying to everyone right now. And how can they be programmed to lie? Because it is obvious to... Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, but all practical measurements are telling you it's a globe. That's a contradiction.
But that's all you can get from them, that it is locally flat. and that locality extends all over the earth.
Yeah, the size of local and what that means and the implications of it, they're ridiculous. Because they say, like, we always say when we hear it locally flat, well, if everyone's measuring it locally flat everywhere, then that means it's flat everywhere, right? But that when they say it's locally flat, that's not what we've been talking about. Me and Nathan and that have been talking about in recent weeks, about how they make arguments in vacuum. So when they say it's locally flat, well, that's ridiculous because everywhere is local to everyone. Do you know what I mean? No matter what measurements you're making, that's in, like, it's as only as far as you can see. You can't measure what you can't see. Even if you're a surveyor, you go up a high mountain, you can see further, but that's still your local area for your elevation. It's like, so all measurements of Earth are locally flat. That must mean, like, if that's your argument in vacuum, then that means that the Earth is flat. Because it can't be any other way. But they don't think of the implications afterwards. They just say the thing in the moment and hope that that suffices to get you to not come down harder on them or something. I don't know what they're trying to do. But saying it's locally flat, or it's, for practical purposes, we measure it flat, but it's a globe, that makes absolutely no sense. We don't measure for anything that isn't, could you show me an impractical measurement? They don't exist. You navigate, or for practical purposes, we treat it as a flat for navigation. For practical purposes, we treat it as flat for measurement. You can't treat it as flat for measurement. If you're measuring it, and that's the outcome of it, if you just use a lot of horizontals and verticals everywhere, then that's not that you've treated it in some way. You have to measure it that way because that's what it is. It's like,
yeah, well,
they won't accept.
That was the chant, though, right, Brian?
Sorry, Neil?
But that was the chant. We just treat it as flat. It's a bunch of baloney.
Well, you can't treat it as that just to do measurements because you can't measure it in some way. Just because it's, like, what I mean is that if it's practical to measure it that way, that's only because it is that way. Do you know what I mean? It can't be something else than what you're measuring it to be. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's a good point. Say that again.
It can't be something else other than what you're measuring it to be. You know what I mean? If you're measuring the Earth using horizontals and verticals through the whole Earth, that means that it has a horizontal baseline. It can't be anything other than that. It has to. The only way to describe it then is flat. You can't describe it as a sphere because there's no measurement to support that.
Correct, and that's why refracted curvature would say measure is to know.
Also, how they equivocate with their language is that level is not the same as flat. Level of a sphere, the surface of a sphere is level. This is what Grok tells me, just because it is equidistant from the center of that sphere. And by that same logic, the mean sea level of Earth is measured from the center. So they say, Grok says at least, just like other globals also do, that level is not the same as flat or horizontal. While measuring, you are
yeah, but they have no level on a globe, though. That's the whole thing. There is no level on a globe, so they can't even say that.
Yeah, I see. At that point, they're claiming that level is three-dimensional. You know what I mean? Like for something to be level, you must have 2 points, and one be no higher or lower. And that would be higher or lower vertically than the other. That is what determines what level is. What they're talking about is the implications. Like this is another claim in a vacuum. The implications of them saying that level is equidistant from a center point, that would make the surface, right, three-dimensional if you were to measure it, because of the drop from every tangent, right? So how is that level? You don't have a level because you don't have any 2 points where there isn't a measurable drop between them. From point A or point B on a sphere, regardless of the distance of the arc length distance, there's going to be a measurable drop between those 2 points. If you go from A to B, there'll be a drop, or B to A, there'll be a drop. So how can that be level? When there's a point in between, that's at a different elevation than point A and B. None of it works. Geometrically is nonsense. But Grok are going to pump out this rubbish, because they're trying to gaslight. What it is a massive, it's the greatest gaslight in history. I said it in the past. They're trying to gaslight people into accepting stuff like that. That's what they're trying to do.
My God, really? Really? Because when you ask for references, I was talking to it about the elevation angle triangle. There being a right angle triangle formed with the horizontal baseline, with the line of sight, and the GP being the right angled. And I asked for references. Where can I find this picture? And you know what it references? What it takes me to? The PZX triangle on a globe.
Yeah. So that's what it'll give you. Back to a non-triangle. Another thing that can't exist. So they support a claim of level that can't exist, right? Because it opposes what level is, and they support that with something that isn't a triangle. You know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. They're gaslighting you with one thing, then trying to gaslight you with another thing. They're supporting fantasy with fantasy. It is circular reasoning, because it's like the support for my claim is my claim. That's basically what it is, isn't it?
Also, then it goes to that angle to distance measurement of 60 nautical miles, and again it superimposes it on a globe. But I know I need to understand more things about this Haversine formula conversion to a globe, and maybe I will have a conversation with you, Brian, but some other day. Today I will not be able to take in so much, because I know what things you say in your own videos, but I still can't say I wrap my head around it completely. So that I'll leave for some other day. And by the way, Nathan, has your gallbladder been removed surgically?
No, I had an infection in it, so they gave me a whole bunch of antibiotics, which I've gone through, but I'm still in pain. So I've got another ultrasound scan booked for the 6th of October.
So I have this flat earther Christian friend here in India, and I was talking to him about that your shows are not going on very regularly because of this gallbladder thing. And also I have another connection that my own father has had pancreatic cancer, the same one that Steve Jobs had. And my father is still alive, but he had undergone a Whipple's surgery where they remove parts of your liver, your pancreas, your gallbladder. And it's been almost 12-13 years, and my father's stomach gastrointestinal process has not been perfect ever since. Still, he is alive. That's a blessing to us, even after cancer. But this friend of mine I was talking to, he said that please ask him not to get it removed, because that is the most common allopathic cure that they come up with, because they basically want you to make you their lifelong customers. And I told you everything. I told my friend everything about healthcare being free in the UK, and Nathan does not have to worry about it. Still, he was of the opinion that just in case Nathan is looking for some alternatives, then ask him to talk to me. So I'm not sure how interested you would be. Just wanted to put it in front of you.
I mean, yeah, either way, it's not going to get removed. That was a last resort, obviously, but by the same token, the most useful thing I've done that people suggested was fasting. So I did a 3-day fast and afterwards felt considerably better. Now, am I better? No, unfortunately not. But I'll just have to figure out what I'm going to do. But fasting really helped.
You did a 3-day water fast, did you, Nathan?
Yeah. I think I did a little bit longer than 3 days. It was like 3.5 days.
That's good going. That's hard to do.
I don't know if it is. So when I was in school, in my last few years of school, I was really fat. So I researched diets and things of that nature for quite extensively, and then came to the conclusion that the way to lose weight quickly was a 1,000-calorie diet. Now, I've got to be honest, that was considerably harder than fasting. So after day 2, or day 1.5, whatever you want to look at it, because I did like half a day before I really started, because I was booked in to have a scan. So I'd already been nil by mouth for about half a day by the time I started the fast. But I had like a little bit of cup of soup and things like that, just not a great deal. So officially I did 3 days. But after about 30 hours, I didn't even think about food. It was dead easy. Didn't care. I wasn't hungry. Didn't bother me in the slightest. Whereas on a 1,000-calorie diet, all you think about is food. Non-stop. That's all you can think about permanently for months on end until you lose all the weight. So moving forward, I'm much more inclined to do fasting. And it was only because of the people who are in my comments and chats and sending me emails, because I've got a nice community around me who literally genuinely care about me. They're like, have you considered trying fasting? And lots of people gave me links and resources to go and find easily. I obviously did the research, but I didn't have to do the research. It was just given to me. I just had to read it. So people told me where to go, told me who to talk to, told me who to listen to, and I did. And it was dead easy as a consequence. So I'm so grateful for having the community I've got.
Thank God.
Well done, man.
Thank God.
Sorry,
Okay, so I'm happy about you, but this friend of mine also had undergone this kind of pain some 5 or 6 years ago before COVID, and he cured it by himself using all these type of alternative medication and techniques. And he is all right now without any pain and gallbladder functioning like anything.
Just before it's lost, Arthur, about the Habersign situation and all that. Don't worry too much about that because it's difficult to understand it. Even Adam, who was very good at maths, even Adam took a while to wrap his head around it. Basically, what Habersign is a conversion from the universal transverse Mercator map using rhumb-line distances and converting them to great circle routes. That's basically about the size of it. But there's also the Vincenti formula, which is addressing an oblate spheroid. So the Habersign formula addresses a perfect sphere, whereas the Vincenti formula addresses an oblate spheroid. But all you have to do is look at when those formulas turned up, right? For instance, I can't remember for the Vincenti formula, but the Habersign formula, that didn't turn up until 1800, right? That means that before 1800, they weren't able to navigate treating the Earth as a globe mathematically. Not that they were navigating it practically, treating it as a globe, but that's what they do in celestial navigation now. And a lot of times with aviation, they treat it as a globe mathematically kind of thing, even though they don't practically address the globe. But they weren't able to do that until they had the Habersign formula. The same, or the Vincenti formula. But they didn't have them for hundreds of years prior to that. And everyone was navigating perfectly. You know what I mean? What about people's celestial navigation prior to 1800? You know? Nathan, you remember when we were talking about that?
I
really don't actually, but yeah.
Around it.
That's my memory, not because it's not a prevalent thing.
Yep, and how Grok goes around it is, it gives a narrative that ever since Eratosthenes in the 200, 300 BCs, we have known that it is kind of a globe. He was close to like 10% of the actual radius of the Earth, and people have been following those principles. And they never really had to care, because all they had to care about is the local horizon. We have been doing it for thousands of years, And even after we got to know that it is actually a globe and the real radius of it, nothing ever changed.
Yeah, but no, but that none of that makes sense because, like, I mean, I know it doesn't make sense. I know it's all rubbish, but what I mean is that prior to 1800, there was no Haversine formula, so they had no way of converting flat to globe, which is what really the Haversine formula does, because it converts distances, rumline distances, that are greater than you can have on a globe, to convert them to globe, right? Because the rumline distances are greater than great circle routes, right? What they call great circle routes. And the problem is that they have to convert them to a great circle route via the Haversine formula. But the problem is they didn't have the Haversine formula before 1800. So they couldn't have treated and navigated the Earth as a globe, but they didn't have any formula to translate to, if you understand what I mean. So if you're treating the Earth as a globe, then you've got to take certain routes in certain ways to end up at the land masses you want to end up at, right? Now, you're still, well, yes and no, because you're still going to be navigating a flat plane, because there's a lot of routes they don't take and they don't use all the time with shipping and stuff like that. And the reason they don't is because the route will be too long, right? Or it won't fit what they need to do. The point is that prior to 1800, there was no Haversine formula. So how could they be using a globe? If there was no Haversine and no Vincenti formula, they couldn't have been addressing a globe or no Blake spheroid. They could only have been addressing the Earth as flat, because they require those formulas to turn it from flat to something else. So all the rubbish they say means nothing. You can't be addressing a globe because that places the land masses in a certain orientation. You can't be doing that and saying it's a globe, right? Unless you have the equations that allow you to translate or transform reality to that mathematical paradigm. But if they didn't have the formulas to do it, then they couldn't have done it, which means they had to have been navigating the world, not just practically, but mathematically flat. So it wasn't just practically, not that obviously that's the main part. That's my point. They could never do it. And Nathan, you were the one who initially, I was talking with you on the show, and you started jumping on it first, and you checked the date, I think, if I remember correctly. And we were speaking about it. You caught on to something I was saying about it, and then you checked the date, and you said it was you that said originally, yeah, if they didn't have that formula, they wouldn't be. You were catching on to what I was saying, that they need that formula to navigate. And you said, hang on a minute. And then you, if I remember correctly, checked the date. And it was actually your point that they didn't have the formula before 1800. That means they couldn't have been navigating, mathematically navigating via a globe, because they didn't have a formula to convert to. So I'm surprised you can't remember when technically it was your point.
I can't remember what happened yesterday, Brian. What do you want?
Anyone could rob all your best points because you can't remember them. Yep. You don't remember making them.
That's not true.
You know what's interesting? Earlier on, when I said to, and I have to apologize again, I use bad language. I knew we're on a member stream, but still I shouldn't have done it. To, what's his name? Captain Edgewise. And I was saying, where's your globe? Produce some globe proof, or I said F off or whatever, right? And I said, I started coming back with nothing. I said, have you any globe proof you're going to produce or not? Yeah, if I produce it, you won't listen to it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, are you going to produce globe proof or not? That was basically it. I was like, and he said, okay, the gyro compass. So what they always want to do is their supposed proof is always some overly complicated thing that most of the time they haven't actually researched correctly. And it's always some nonsense with some hidden element, you know what I mean? Some cloak and dagger element involved, which the nowadays gyro compasses have. as you don't get to see what's going on in the inner workings of them, like with the old mechanical ones, right? And they hide certain things. Like I could bet the farm, I would bet the absolute farm there is a magnetometer in the nowadays gyrocompasses, right? You know, I would bet, as Kiwi would say, or they say in America, bet the farm. I would bet the farm there's a magnetometer within. See, the thing is that they want to instantly go to some heap of nonsense, right? That brings you around in a big complicated circle. That you have to. This is a 20-page paper on this particular gyrocompass, and this is a blah blah paper, and this is a blah 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 blah. This is the XP95050 model from blah. You know, they want to go into every bit of minutia and nonsense that doesn't prove anything. That and the whole purpose of what they're doing is everything they pull up will be circular reasoning. It won't prove the geometry of the world. It's all written in such a way that, as in it pre-assumes the globe, and let's just say it pre-assumes the globe, and it comes back and tells you it's a globe because it pre-assumed the globe. Every one of these papers I was ever presented with from any of these people about anything, it always starts with the pre-assumption of the globe, and the answer is it's a globe afterwards. Once they pre-assumed it within the paper. You know, or have you read the paper? This kind of rubbish. Right? When you actually go into things like gyrocompasses, they have nothing to do with the globe. Nothing to do with the globe. As a matter of fact, the original mechanical one from Sperry Mark 1 proved outright that it couldn't be what they said it was. You know what I mean? It's like they never actually say, yes, I have. Here are our measurements. That doesn't ever happen. Never happens. They never have anything practical. It's always some nonsense that has a load of hidden elements, complicated hidden elements within it. And companies like Sperry who are willing to outright lie, which they did. Sperry, the company who make the gyrocompasses and a lot of things like the mercury switch system that they used to use in attitude indicators and airplanes and stuff, they outright lied. They outright lied in their video for the Sperry Mark 1, an old black and white video. Outright lying. They said things that were not true, and I showed them not to be true. They're just liars. But their support, the baller support, is some big complicated paper from some company who are headed up by total liars. Do you know what I mean? They never have anything. When it comes down to actually having anything of any note, of any practicality, they don't have it. They never have anything practical. When we really get down to the brass tacks of the earth, they don't have anything practical. They only have lawyers. That's all they ever have.
That's correct, Brian. And Nathan's right. You got to lie to Glurf. And look at that stuff that the Edgewise guy sent us from Sperry. Remember that?
Oh, that's that mercury switch system. Yeah, that's total nonsense. Because what Sperry were claiming is that they correct from horizontal. If you want to get into the vast facts of it, they correct from horizontal to horizontal. That's, if you go through, you understand it, you go through it, that's exactly what they were claiming. That's how ridiculous it is. And that's a system that hasn't been used on airplanes for a long time because it's a slow system. Not the pendulum space system was a much faster system, and now they have other systems now that are faster again. You know, to deal with ring laser gyros and stuff like that, and accelerometers. But the point being is that, like, the mercury switch system, what it did is that when it was locked out of horizontal, it corrected back to horizontal, just like what's it called? Pendulum chains. But that's what they did. So the baller claim is that it's correcting from horizontal to horizontal. That's what their actual claim. That's what Sperry's claim is as well. No, what they were claiming to us was different. What was it? It was, I think, the way, because they didn't understand it or something, that they were claiming to us, it was correcting from sphere to horizontal for the purpose of the data. So it was showing a horizontal in the data because it corrects from the sphere to the horizontal for the data. That's what they were trying to claim, which was not what which wasn't what Sperry were pointing out.
Right. So
I was
yesterday. Go ahead.
Hey, Neil. So I was just going to add this point of pendulous veins that Brian clarified like a few weeks ago, maybe. That how ironic, it's almost poetic how it is turning out to be that Globers have been using pendulous veins as a justification for the self-correction of the gyros. And then that day, Brian pointed out the irony that no, their purpose is just the opposite. They are protecting the gyro from any deviations due to external acceleration. So it was so simply clarified by Brian that it was poetic.
Yeah, because that's the whole purpose of missing out. To stop any change in orientation. That's what the purpose of them are, and that's what they do. Because what they would need, see, the problem is what the ballers also don't understand about our claims concerning pendulous veins or the mercury switch systems is that these companies are actually would have to be claiming that the plane is flying in a straight line, then changing its orientation and flying in another straight line, then changing its orientation and flying in another straight line, and that the attitude indicator has to change when the plane changes its orientation, right? And the attitude indicator then has to change with that, not realizing that there's a load of, like, if that was even happening, let's say any of that was happening, it would show up in the acceleration element, in the pitch, in the flight data. Right. This is something that would be, and there's a load of, I won't go into all the implications of what it would mean for actually flying, but this is something that would be so crazy. No, I mean, it just wouldn't be workable. Nothing would be workable if you had to do that. But this is what they must claim. There will also be all kinds of erratic attitude changes because of this. Because you can only fly in a straight line so long over a curved surface before you're gaining and gaining and gaining altitude. You have to keep on switching down, pitching down and switching your orientation. And then your indicator would have to then follow you. So for a while, you won't be able to use the attitude indicator until it corrects itself. And this is the nonsense that they have to claim. Now, but the ballers think that planes fly in smooth curves. Airplanes don't fly in curves. They only fly in straight lines. Companies like Sperry know that. That is why they're claiming what they're claiming. What Sperry is claiming is that the plane is flying in a straight line, then it changes its orientation and flies in a different straight line, right? And their gyro compass, their mercury switch system or the pendulous vein system, whatever, that switches from one straight line to another straight line, and it corrects. But that's not what it does. It doesn't do all that. I mean, in a commercial airline or pendulous veins hardly do anything, and that's not just from me. That's from a commercial pilot I spoke with. They don't hardly do anything because they don't need to, because the plane is not doing acrobatics. It's getting up to altitude. It's flying basically at that same altitude. It's trying to hold the same altitude in a straight line that it gets to where it has to go back down and land again. That's what it's doing. It's not changing. It's not doing all these erratic movements. There is no big acceleration changes because there's all kinds of angular issues then as well when you're talking about all these different straight lines. If you get into all of the, let's say, the geometry and physics of it, none of this is workable. But the ballers think that the planes are flying in perfect arcs. It's like, they don't do that. Just the basics of an airplane, it wouldn't matter if the Earth was a globe. They wouldn't be able to fly in a perfect arc because they can't do that. Planes don't fly in arcs. They can only fly in straight lines. And that's why Sperry, the company the paper from the company that they are trying to present to us, know that. And that's what they're trying to say is happening and is being accounted for, when that's not what's happening. So the whole lot is, and all that goes out the window for takeoff and descent when they must use parallel verticals and parallel horizontals, no matter what. I mean, so what, does the Earth stop being a globe for those 2 times within your claim? Because that's what they'd have to claim. They have to claim that for 100 miles in front of the airport, the Earth is completely horizontal. And then for another 150 miles when they're coming into the sending land, the Earth is completely horizontal. But in between that, right, it's a big arc. This is what they're claiming. It's ridiculous. Do you understand their claims, Nathan? What they were claiming, what Sperry were claiming. I don't know if you're still there.
It's just suddenly got really noisy here, so I can't reply to you, sorry.
No worries. That sounds like noise, but I'll accept it. That's like just going through a tunnel.
No, that means I'm in the middle of my game. You'll know it once he says victory royale. Then you know he's full of crap.
No, the kids have come home. It's just got noisy here, that's all.
Am I joking?
Right, I'm going to make this show live to the public.
You're going live now?
We already are live, but I'm just going to make it public rather than members only.
But you're going live now, as into the public?
To the public, yeah.
Okay.
If I can find the flipping hangout. There we go.
But yeah, that is what Sperry are claiming, that they're correcting from horizontal to horizontal. That's how ridiculous. I mean, it's hilarious to think that that's what they're actually claiming. But when you look into the brass tacks of it, that's what they're claiming. So I don't know how you correct from horizontal to horizontal. You know, it's like I'm correcting from vertical to vertical. It's like you already are vertical. You know, you don't need to correct it.
I was kicking ass in my own live chat feed in the premiering stream that was running up until now.
Go on.
Just people in there saying, you know, you idiots have got no scientific evidence for Earth being flat. So after pointing out the category there that they're in, I'll start doing what we did on the show and saying, well, your origin story starts with a flat Earth measurement by Al-Biruni. And they start denying Al-Biruni. You saying your evidence is one man from thousands of years ago? Like, no, that's your evidence. I'm using your standard. But feel free to deny Al-Biruni.
Yeah, they don't see that it's them you're talking about. This is not your evidence. This is something you're pointing out concerning their one claimed piece of evidence. Do you know what I mean? You know, this is the measurement that's supposed to have been a measurement of a globe, and he measured a flat plane.
My favourite.
This is just me pointing out that.
Well, moving on from that, you move on to more modern examples. Like, oh, your examples from thousands of years ago. No, your hostile witness that I'm destroying, that you can feel free to deny, comes from claimed to be thousands of years ago. But if you want a more modern example, no worries. Fugly Dave McKeegan almost managed to measure Earth flat for 24 hours had he not been outsmarted by a tripod. It's like, you want to deny Dave's measurements? No worries. Just tell me Dave didn't manage to measure Earth at all. He didn't get angles off a flat plane like he documented. That's fine by me. No worries. That's all I'll do. I'll only ever present their own hostile witnesses to put them between the rock and the hard place. Oh, you don't like Dave's measurement of flat Earth elevation angles for a limited period until the tripod got the better of him? No worries. Chuck him out then. But Dave's a dumbass. He didn't measure Earth. Oh, he did? So he measured Earth flat then, for the little number with a degree symbol after it. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Measure Earth flat, that is. Oh, you don't like that he measured Earth flat. You'd prefer that it was, in error? So he ballsed it up and got errors? Oh, he didn't get errors. He measured Earth flat. Just pick one. Either he didn't measure Earth, he ballsed it up, had errors because he couldn't possibly be measuring surface level elevation angles, or he measured Earth flat with surface level elevation angles. In reality, he just measured Earth flat with surface level elevation angles until the tripod got the better of him. But it's good job we had Toon there, right? Because he managed it for the full 24 hours of flat Earth measurements.
Yeah, it's funny that they can't say that when they must go and get these claimed globe-proof measurements, they have to measure the Earth to be a flat plane to do this. It's like, I don't know how would you analogize? What would be a good analogy?
It's the guy on the bridge. Do you know on
putting wings on a boat? Go on, sorry.
I was going to say it's not Life of Brian. It's the other one from Monty Python where
Holy Grail.
They get to the bridge, and there's a troll, and he says, "In order to pass this bridge, you must answer me these questions 3, right?" And he's like, "What's your favourite colour? What is your quest?" Things like that, and then guy passes over the bridge no problem, and one of the other knights goes, "That's easy," and he goes, "Right, I'm ready for your questions, bridgekeeper." He says, "What's the capital of Bolivia?" He's like, "I don't know," and he gets thrown into the bridge. Well, it's the same situation. You either accept the Earth is measured flat, in which case you can cross over the bridge, or you deny your own measurements, in which case you get tossed in the bridge, in the ravine.
Well, yeah, it's one or the other, isn't it? You either accept it and you get to go across the bridge, or you get thrown into the moat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, I was trying to come up with an analogy for it, and it was like putting wings on a boat and trying to say that you've made a claim, but you required the boat to even make the claim. Do you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't have made this claim without the boat, So you put wings on the boat and then said the boat was a plane, even though it's still sailing on the water and not taking off. It's kind of nearly like that, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah, that's a nice analogy. So you've got a winged aeroplane that can only take off from the water, and they want to deny that boats can float, planes can float. You're like, well, but this plane doesn't get in the air unless you accept that it floats on the water. That's how it takes off. No, I refuse. Well, then the plane ain't getting off the ground because it's in the water to begin with. You can either accept that it's taken off from the water, or you don't. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it's like they want to deny that there was ever a boat in water to begin with.
Yeah, whistling past flat Earth measurements so they can imply the calculations of sphericity after they've measured Earth flat. All we do is say, "So you measured Earth flat then?" At which point they've got a choice: either deny the base origin measurement for their story, in which case they've got nothing, or they accept that Earth's measured flat. That's their only choice.
Yeah, that's correct.
And do you know who said nothing about any of this all day? QE.
Probably not even at his desk.
You know what,
Brian,
Nathan and Brian specifically, that I never knew about Monty Python. And after I heard you guys talk about Monty Python, I watched what's that most famous movie you talk about, their main one, about Jesus, right? During Jesus' time. So I watched that one. It was really funny. Come again?
The same bridgekeeper asks...
Life of Brian, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, how can I forget? Life of Brian. Because I was always thinking about Brian while watching that movie. Anyways, but I haven't still watched this other one, Holy Grail or something, because a good version is not available on YouTube. But I never knew about Monty Python. I may have heard the name, but that they are a comedy troupe and they have movies and all, and British show that I was not aware of. As far as British comedy is concerned, Mr. Bean and Austin Powers is all I knew about.
Monty Python are the smartest of British comedians. That is to say, the multi-level comedy that they produced back in the 70s or even in the 60s was beyond anything that's being produced now. So most comedies, regardless of where they come from, modern comedies, are very two-dimensional, whereas there's many, many layers to Monty Python. But in the same analogy, right? So King Arthur gets
Am I watching comedy or it was I watched a lot of their shows, but am I watching comedy or some sci-fi show that I have to peel into layers to understand it? Because I did not get much of it.
Depends what you watch. Same with Terry Gilliam. If you watch any Terry Gilliam films, he's obviously a Monty Python member, you get the same sort of thing. They're just less humorous when it's a Terry Gilliam film. But just to finish off the example, so with the flat earth analogy of being asked by a glurf to answer questions 3 and then ending up in the drink, right? You get to King Arthur and he gets asked what's the maximum speed of a laden swallow, and King Arthur says, well, a European or an African swallow? And the bridge keeper goes, I don't know, and he goes in under the bridge.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good. Because there was the whole thing going on in it about the difference between African and European swallows. There was a whole conversation earlier on in the movie.
Indeedy. Right, is it time to round out? It is.
Yeah, I'll be able to talk in a minute. I just have a bit of noise with me.
Right, I'm going to round out this live stream. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member if you wanted to take part in these members-only live streams. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.